Chapter 671, Problems at Home. Shao still did not want to leave after dinner. He looked hesitant. That was quite surprising. Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan felt that something was wrong. Shao must have something to say. Something was not right, or he would not have been so embarrassed. Brother Yuezheng, why not have the talk in the study? Shao Yunduan suggested. They could talk about anything they wanted. Shao bursted out. No need, we can just talk here. That meant that Qiao Xian could join them. Shao Yunduan and Qiao Xian exchanged a look between themselves, and they became even more confused. Brother Yuezheng, just say it. Yeah. Qiao Xian smiled. Don't hesitate, you have to tell us sooner or later. Sigh. Shao felt like bursting. True, they had to know sooner or later. Brother Shao, sister-in-law, I do have something to tell you about your family. But everything is fine now, you don't have to worry about anything. The couple was startled. Shao Yunduan lowered his voice. Brother Yuezheng, please speak clearly. Okay, don't worry, everything is fine now. I promise. Elle should have told you a few days ago, but because of the imperial examination, I made up my mind to conceal it from you, Brother Shao. It was a long story and it had something to do with the Zhao family. Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan had arranged everything well. Everything should have been fine. But, on the day when Shao Sanlang and Yang Xiaoni went into the town to buy stuff, something happened. The family could afford enough food these days, and because of Qiao Xian's cooking skills, everyone was greedy for meat. Miss Fang was not stingy either. She could afford the food, so she decided to have a good time. They were able to live generously, so she did not want to behave like a poor family. Every now and then, Shao Sanlang and Yang Xiaoni went into the town to buy meat. Though Ojao Xian was not around, Yang Xiaoni and Tao Tao could copy her by adding a lot of seasonings and spices, and if they could keep the meat fresh, then the big fire over the stove should be able to make the fish taste great. Shao Sanlang and Yang Xiaoni always went into town smoothly, but there was one time when they ran into Zhao Guanghua with Tao Tao and Q. Zhao Guanghua stared at Yang Xiaoni without moving. He knew that Qiao Xian was Officer Qiao's daughter and Shao Yunduan was the cultivated talent, so even though he liked that girl, he could not possibly force her. So he just sneaked around. But his servants, Shi and Do, found him very distressed these days, and saw how he looked at the girl from the countryside. Hence, they decided to kidnap Yang Xiaoni and deliver her to their young master's side. Yang Xiaoni was beautiful and dressed in a very lovely way. She liked desserts and pastry, so the two servants believed that Yang Xiaoni must be a lazy person. Otherwise, how could some wife from the countryside be so well-dressed and would like to spend so much money buying snacks? It must be the wife who was greedy that her husband had to buy those things for her, since she was very pretty. Chapter 672, Bullying in Do's Eyes. A girl from the countryside was very easily coaxed. As long as she was kidnapped, she would feel that she was honored to be with their young master. She would be willing to serve him. The Zhao family had never feared anybody in the county. She and Do had been used to bullying around, and they never had any rules or morality. They dared to do anything to flatter their young master. So, the two servants came up with the idea of hiring a few hooligans and tried to rob Shao Sanlang and the others on their way home. The servants and the hooligans put on some masks and pretended to be bandits from the mountains. Tao Tao and Yang Xiaoni were so scared, but Shao Sanlang did not allow anyone to bully his wife. He shouted loudly to Qi and asked him to take the two girls away. But Qi was so furious that he pulled out a tree trunk thicker than his arm and waved at the bandits, who fell onto the ground. Shao Sanlang did not get to do anything at all. Tao Tao and Yang Xiaoni were both shocked. Then, Qi asked Shao Sanlang to get the 8 of them tied into 2 clusters. The hooligans were not afraid of them, so they kept shouting and decided to threaten them. Shao Sanlang was furious, but he was a bit scared as well. Hooligans were very difficult to get rid of. They might not be afraid of them when in the village, but if they went into the town in the future, they might come to attack them again. One would never know what was coming next. More importantly, they were not afraid of anything. Shao Xiaoqi shouted loudly. Just shut up. You know who we are, so you dare to do anything? My fifth sister-in-law is county magistrate's daughter, and if you ever touch us, she will never let you go. My fifth brother is the cultivated talent, and he is in the province for the imperial examination. If he makes it to the next level, you will not escape the punishment. Have you heard of the Yuezhing family? The richest family in the province. Their young master is a good friend of our family, and he has even lived at our place. He even has a manager residing at the Zhang village taking care of the properties. You can ask around if you don't believe me. We are not your enemies. We have never offended you. Why did you do this to us? The hooligans were dumbfounded as they exchanged looks between themselves. They started to hesitate. Officer Qiao did have a daughter who married a cultivated talent, but these people had no chance to pry about the county magistrate's family, so they had no idea that Qiao Xian was disliked in her family. Also, even if she was, the county magistrate would protect her just to keep up his reputation. Also, what if this boy's brother really became a recommended man? They would never be bold enough to offend people from a recommended man's family. But the Zhao family was powerful in the county, and they knew that the young master Zhao was very arrogant. They could get many benefits by sucking up to him. If he was offended, the result could be bad too. So, they did not dare sell out Zhao Guanghua. They just apologized and said that it was a misunderstanding, promising never to touch them again. Chapter 673, Evil Servants. At this time, Shao Sanlang pointed at Qi suddenly. Qi, look at that man. Does he look like the page boy serving young Master Zhao when he visited our cousin's home? Shao Xiaoqi was startled as he looked in that direction. Sure enough. Shao Xiaoqi was smarter than Shao Sanlang. He sneered after thinking for a while. So, is it young Master Zhao who hired you? Shame on you. Xi and Dou felt that they were better than others, and they could not stand it when a countryside boy cursed their young master. She glared at Qi. Since you know we are working for young Master Zhao, you better untie us. Otherwise, our young master will not let you be at peace. Dou also snapped back. Yeah, you poor people from the countryside should never dare to offend our young master. You can cheat others, but we are from the Zhao family. Untie us, and let this girl come with us. When our young master is pleased, he will forgive you. Shao Sanlang and Shao Xiaoqi did not like such words. Annoyed, they punched and kicked the two servants who cried out in pain. They even lost 2 front teeth. We will punch you, you damn servants. We will punch you whenever we see you. Shao Sanlang and Shao Xiaoqi left with Yang Xiaoni and Tao Tao. Xi and Dou did not get rid of the ropes until a long while later. Finally, they went home in a mess. The hooligans found that something was wrong. They dodged Xi and Dou and refused to help them. That family did not seem to be very easy to deal with. Humiliated, Xi and Dou again cursed at those people, feeling angry. Hooligans were not easily offended. When they did not offer help, they did not dare to do anything about it either. But from that day on, they regarded the Shao family as their enemies. After a few discussions, they instigated Zhao Guanghua by saying that the Shao family kept sneering at Zhao Guanghua behind his back. They claimed that they went to defend his name in front of them but got beaten. Zhao Guanghua got so furious. He could not stand the humiliation. So, the next day, they rushed to Shaoding village with a few followers. But the Shao family were in charge of the village, and the land officer had a good relationship with Shao Yunduan and his family. So, the land officer would definitely defend their family to show his position and keep the family safe. He needed to act like a land officer. Also, Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan had said that they would offer some jobs to the villagers. A few families had already got some benefits from them, so the land officer was absolutely on the side of the Shao family. Young Master Zhao would never do anything for the village. No one from the village would care about him. So, when Zhao Guanghua came with his gang, they could not do anything to the Shao family, and left angrily. Zhao Ming got furious hearing about this. Since when did the Zhao family become so easy to be bullied? Officer Qiao forced them to donate money and his cheap son-in-law ordered people to punch their servants. Chapter 674, Anger out of twist. Who made them so bold as to do this? Zhao Ming gave her second brother an idea. They should be made to fight amongst themselves. So, the next day, she went to Qiao Wei and told her how Qiao Xian bought so many properties in secret and had hundreds of mu in the village. She even mentioned how they had actually sucked up to the Yuezhing family in the province, and how lively their lifestyle was. Cultivated talent Shao even went into province with Qiao Xian to participate in the imperial examination. If he made it to the next level, things would become very different. Qiao Wei's face changed completely. She interrogated Zhao Ming and asked again if everything she said was real. Zhao Ming swore that it was all true. She even said that the Shao family had a huge house with glazed windows and they even had many fields. Qiao Wei's face was twisted. How dare Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan do this? Qiao Wei told Madame Qiao about all of this. Madame Qiao was furious as well. How dare Shao Yunduan go to participate in the imperial examination? Madame Qiao told Officer Qiao about it in anger. Officer Qiao was shocked too, but said instantly, if he wants to have a try, then he can do that. It doesn't cost us any money. If he fails, that has nothing to do with us. If he does make it to the next level, he may be of some help to us. Madame Qiao and Qiao Wei were both shocked. Their thoughts were far different, quite the opposite. Qiao Wei could not stand her father's attitude. She felt saddened, and said, Dad, how could you say that? How dare Shao Yunduan participate in the imperial examination? Who does he think he is? He may end up humiliating you. Madame Qiao added. Old master, he is just a cultivated talent, and he lied to you. He told you that he would not be participating in the imperial examination, but he did it in secret. He doesn't respect you. He doesn't think you are important. He is so ruthless and tricky. If he makes it to the next level and becomes promising, do you think that he will help you, and not set you up instead? Officer Qiao was startled. He lashed out. He would not dare. I am his father-in-law. If he ever dares to do anything against my will, he will lose his position. Also, he needs my help when he is new to the government. Listen carefully, if he fails, then ignore him. If he makes it, you must treat Qiao Xian well. We are a family, remember? In Officer Qiao's eyes, nothing was more important than his career. Even if he had some disagreement with Shao Yunduan in the past, nothing mattered compared to a bright future. So, Shao Yunduan was not going to hate him. If he did resent him, then he was a stupid person. Qiao Wei just could not believe what she heard. She was about to counter her father, when Madame Qiao stopped her. Madame Qiao smiled sweetly. It is my fault for not thinking about this. You are right, old master, if Shao Yunduan makes it, then he would need your help. If he is not stupid, he will definitely suck up to you, rather than hate you. After all, you are his father-in-law. Officer Qiao nodded with satisfaction. Good that you think so. Madame Qiao sighed with a smile. But he needs to clear the level first. He is not a learned person and has no name in our county. He was driven out of Minghua College because of the trouble he caused. He might not make it most probably. We need to wait until the result comes out. Chapter 675, Warning. Officer Qiao fretted and turned anxious. Never mind, let's see what happens. Officer Qiao did not think that Shao Yunduan would make it to the next level. But when he thought of how he disagreed with his proposal and sneaked to take the examination, he could not help but feel disgusted. You are right, old master. Madame Qiao sighed with a slight worry in her voice. Hopefully he knows what to do, and he won't just brag about his background and bring you down, old master. Hearing that, Officer Qiao suddenly got annoyed by Shao Yunduan. He sneered. If he dares do something like that, I will punish him. Madame Qiao said, no matter what the result is, old master, You need to teach him a lesson so that he knows that he should respect you and inform you of everything. Otherwise, he will always try to rebel and make decisions on his own. Old master, that would bring you much trouble. Officer Qiao frowned slightly and agreed. You have given me a good reminder. That is definitely necessary. Madame Qiao said modestly, I am fully devoted to you, old master. Officer Qiao smiled in satisfaction. True, his wife was very virtuous. What Officer Qiao did not know was that the moment he left, his virtuous wife and brilliant lineal daughter had distorted expressions on their faces. Mom, look at what Dad said. Qiao Xian, the bitch, and Shao Yunduan dared to rebel against us. How can they do so? Mom, that bitch should have never become an officer's wife, never. Madame Qiao's face sank. She did not want this to happen more than Xiao Wei did. Her original plan of setting up Qiao Xian and forcing her to marry some countryside man was ruined. Anyway, he is just there for an examination. You think he can make it to the next level? Shao Yunduan is not at all skilled. That is not going to happen. What if it does happen? Not possible. Imperial examination can clearly identify knowledgeable people, and those people without any knowledge would never go any further. How can it be possible for someone like him to succeed? Qiao Wei felt slightly better hearing that. She gritted her teeth. Mom, Qiao Xian dared to make the decision herself. We will teach her a good lesson when she returns. Niadame Qiao's face turned dark. True. I am going to ask her why she concealed this from us. What is so humiliating with the imperial examination? Qiao Wei was fretting. She really wished to get Qiao Xian over here to lecture her now. How could Qiao Xian follow Shao Yunduan to the province for the imperial examination? Qiao Xian was just a coward. She was not good enough to be seen in public. How could she go to the province? She did not deserve the visit to the province. Even though she herself had never been there enough times. Mom, how about getting Auntie Ling to visit the village and take a look at the Shao family? Zhao Ming said that Qiao Xian has collected a lot of money, and they even have glazed windows and a big house. They have bought a lot of land. Where did she get the money from? Even if Shao Yunduan claimed that he is working for young Master Yuezheng, 2 liang a month is not at all enough. Something is wrong. The couple lied to us about going to the province. So, I believe that they must be lying about a lot of other things too. Madame Qiao found that many things were wrong. She was also itching to do something about it. Chapter 676. Auntie Ling at door. Qiao Xian's mother never left anything for her, and Auntie Ling prepared the dowry for the girl. There was nothing valuable there. Qiao Xian coaxed 300 to 400 liang from the family, but that was just enough for dozens of mu fields, nothing beyond. A big house with glazed windows? That was just fantasy. Oh right. Madame Qiao suddenly realized that Qiao Xian must have been pretending to be weak. She never cribbed about the poor dowry prepared for her either. Unless she had been pretending to be weak before. The more she thought about this, the more angry Madame Qiao became. She felt so furious. That bitch had been lying to her all this while. Good, good. Then what she and Shao Yunduan said might not be true. Maybe their relationship with young Master Yuezheng was not the same as they had claimed, but what could it be? Madame Qiao was feeling really uncomfortable at this moment. She turned to Auntie Ling, take 2 people to the Shao family in the village and take a thorough look at their home. That bitch must be lying to us about many things. You have to see with your own eyes, and not believe what the Shao family tells you, got it? Auntie Ling nodded. Madame Qiao and Xiao Wei told Auntie Ling a few more things before she left. They were not going to visit the village personally. That place was too low class for them to set foot in. Before Auntie Ling left the following day, Madame Qiao got Concubine Du and Xiao Ko to keep her company. When Concubine Du and Xiao Ko's properties were taken away, they did not seem to have a broken relationship with Xiao Wei and Madame Qiao, but both of them knew what they were resentful inwardly. When Concubine Du and Xiao Ko heard about what happened to Qiao Xian and the Shao family, they were shocked, and then, they turned extremely jealous. Why was Qiao Xian living a good life whilst they were suffering? That was totally unreasonable. Both of them got very motivated and swore to God that they were going to rip the Shao family off. Seeing their reaction, Madame Qiao more or less understood what they were thinking. She felt disdainful. These were just her tools. At the first section of the Shao family. Due to what Zhao Guanghua did to them, the brothers of the Shao family did not leave home, fearing that something might happen again. Yang Xiaoni and Tao Tao were still making lipsticks in the flower field, which was located next to the village, so that was all right. Auntie Ling and her team came to the house of the first section of the Shao family and ordered the maid Zhang Xir and Yang San to knock at the door. Sizing up the appearance of the house, Auntie Ling and concubine Du as well as Qiao Ko were all very annoyed inwardly. It was indeed a huge house. Concubine Du felt sour inwardly. Second Miss is really capable of buying so many properties. Shao Sanlang opened the door and looked alarmed, seeing the two women at the door. Who are you? Who are we? That is a good question. We are from the Qiao family. Madame Qiao sent us here. Are Qiao Xian's in-laws home? Fifth sister-in-law's family? That could not be good. Chapter 677, Jealous Shao Sanlang chuckled. My parents are both at home. If you are from Officer Qiao's mansion, please come in. Shao Sanlang did not think that they were imposters. Honestly, no one in the county would dare pretend to be from the county magistrate's family. Auntie Ling went in with the others. Shao Sanlang turned around and shouted, so everyone who was at home came out. Auntie Ling, concubine Du, and her daughter as well as the two woman maids were shocked to see the house. The yard was paved with flat and clean square bricks. The house was tall and spacious, and the materials used were very good. There were actually several small yards, each with a closed door. There were a lot of flowers and trees planted, which were lush and blooming, including roses, hydrangea. Pomegranates were hanging from the trees, and they were full of vitality. This was not a countryside home. In fact, it was better than a town family's home. The worst part in their eyes was that the windows were all installed with light-colored glazed windows, with a lot of light shining through. It must be so good to live in such a place. Concubine Du and her daughter exchanged a look, and both felt really jealous. Even their room was not installed with glazed windows. Ah, you are from the Qiao family? What are your names? Miss Fang smiled brightly. Yang San frowned. You are the in-law, right? We are all women here, and we can't just meet other men. Can they be sent away? Eldest uncle flushed and looked embarrassed. He smiled. Okay, we will leave, then. He took away Shao Sanlang, Shao Dalong and Shao Xiaoqi. Only Ms. Fang and Ms. Su were present. Ms. Fang gave Qi a wink, who left without saying anything. But Qi did not leave them alone. Instead, he was on watch nearby. Shao Sanlang went to the flower field to get Yang Xiaoni and the other girls to come back. They could not be less in numbers. Miss Fang did not have a big smile on her face originally, and she smiled even less now. We don't have many rules and manners here, sorry for that. Who are you? Auntie Ling and concubine Du as well as her daughter did not like the way Miss Fang talked. They seemed to look down at Miss Fang. Yang San introduced them arrogantly. That is concubine Du, third miss, and Auntie Ling who works for Madame Qiao. Miss Fang said, oh. So concubine and servants, and one mistress who was her daughter-in-law's sister. So, if she was her daughter-in-law's sister, then she should be above her in generation. Miss Fang soon understood that they had no positions in front of her. Thanks to Qiao Xian, Miss Fang had learned the inner workings of the mansions. Qiao Xian had used her common sense, and some things she mentioned were even wrong. After all, she was not professional in this aspect either. Those were just what she had learned from fiction and TV series in the past. But what she had taught Ms. Fang would be useful now. Those people were here with ill intention. Moreover, they seemed to be looking down at her. Miss Fang almost rolled eyes at them, not intending to suck up to Concubine Du and the others. It was already kind enough for Miss Fang to let them enter the house. Chapter 678, No Rules. Miss Su, you are pregnant, you can go back to your room to rest. Concubine Du still glanced about as she sat down, hearing what Miss Fang said to Miss Su. Miss Su also noticed that the visitors were not up to any good. But these were the in-laws of the family and her mother-in-law should be able to handle it. She was going to be in labor soon and she really could not help her being here. What if some accident happened? That would be horrible. So, she smiled and left the threshold. Qiao Ko could not stand it but forced out a false smile. Aunt Fang, you are lucky. My second sister's dowry must have paid for everything in this house, didn't it? My second sister has got so much money. Miss Fang glanced at her. What do you know, little girl? Don't go around spreading rumors. Miss Qiao's dowry is her own property. No in-laws would use daughter-in-law's dowry. You are just a little girl. Where did you hear such rumors? You. Qiao Ko flushed, angry. Concubine Du got angry and her face sank. You, if I remember correctly, you are a concubine, right? Concubine Du. Qiao Ko shouted immediately. So what? A concubine is superior to you countryside people. TMS. Fang struck the table hard, sneering despite whether they had got frightened. If that is the case, what is the point of coming to our home? You are too noble for us to serve, aren't you? So, you can leave now. Miss Fang stood up and shouted at them. Just leave now. Or I will use a broomstick. We countryside people are always very rough. You are driving us away? Qiao Ko sneered. Mother sent us here, and you are driving us away? I am a generation older than you, and you dare shout at me and lecture me? You are also saying that a concubine is superior to me? Does this mean your mother wanted you to say all of this? Then, I will ask everyone around if it is reasonable. Best that there is a conclusion drawn out of it. You, third miss. Auntie Ling could not stand it any more. All this while, she had been watching the show. If this countryside woman truly drove them out with a broomstick, that would be so humiliating. Also, this countryside woman was very reasonable in this matter. Auntie Ling could tell that this countryside woman was not someone to be bullied easily. No wonder they always said that poor places tended to breed poor people. In-law, please, Madam Qiao sent us here to ask a few questions. The concubine doesn't know how to behave and third miss doesn't know manners. Please excuse us. Madam Qiao would never tell them to do so, you have misunderstood us. Miss Fang sat down and snorted. Oh, is that so? I never expected my daughter-in-law's mother to have such an idea. So, will they apologize to me since they made a mistake like this? Auntie Ling stiffened. Concubine Du's face changed and Qiao Ko almost shouted out something loudly again. But Auntie Ling glared at them so they stopped. Yeah, Auntie Ling replied with gritted teeth. Concubine Du, third miss, apologized to Lady Fang. Auntie Ling was speaking for Madam Qiao. So, no matter how unwilling Concubine Du and Qiao Ko were, they still obeyed her. Otherwise, she would report it to Madam Qiao when they returned and they would suffer. Sorry for the rude words, please forgive us. Sorry. Chapter 679, Wrong Answers Ms. Fang rolled her eyes openly. It was boring to hear these untruthful words. Forget it. She waved her hands. I don't care. Qiao Ko got so annoyed. Then tell us earlier if you don't care. Why wait until now? Auntie Ling did not dare to ask what they were about to ask, after this incident. Madam Qiao heard that the second miss and her husband are in the province for the examination. So, she sent us here to offer some help. Miss Fang did not believe her. Everything is fine here, no need for any help. Yeah, I can tell. Look at this magnificent house and glazed windows. One such window would cost 30 to 40 liang. Lady Fang, you are living a luxurious life now. Nis. Fang was startled when she heard that. What? One glazed window cost 30 to 40 liang? How could that glass be so expensive? She was sighing emotionally inside her heart. Shao Yunduan and Xiao Xian used their money to make this happen. How much did Ms. Qiao pay for the house? She would not have agreed to use the glazed windows, if she had known how expensive they were. The couple told her nothing. The room was very bright because of these, and the glazed windows were so beautiful. Everyone liked them, but it was so costly. Miss Fang could help but shiver. She was throwing scared glances at the windows. That was money. She needed to be very careful about the glasses. They were all money. Madame Qiao even said that if the second Miss Husband clears the examination, are the fees for the next examination available? If not, Madame Qiao will offer some help. But you are very rich, so I believe that you must be doing some business, right? Are you hanging out with young Master Yuezhing from the province? What is the business deal between the two families? Madame Qiao is curious, so she needs to know the answers. I will tell Madame Qiao about this so that she can be assured in her heart as well. Miss Fang had no idea what Auntie Ling was thinking. She was still stuck on the glazed windows. Auntie Ling raised her voice and called her. Miss Fang came back to her senses and asked. What did you just say? Auntie Ling was speechless. She had no choice but to repeat everything patiently. Miss Fang waved her hands. One have no idea about any of this. Yunduan has always been capable since childhood, and he can read well. He is smart, steady, and assiduous too. He respects us and I never need to take care of him that much, Auntie Ling. What was she saying? Later, no matter what Auntie Ling and concubine Du asked, Miss Fang only answered with one statement. Don't know. Yang Xiaoni came back at this time. Tao Tao and Chunyu were still busy in the flower field. There was no need to have too many of them present here. Shao Sanlang and Shao Xiaoqi were both in this house. They were not around, but close by. They would rush in to help in case something happened. But this was better. Miss Fang pretended to be foolish and Yang Xiaoni really had no idea what Auntie Ling asked. Auntie Ling got very tired and expressed that they would like to have a tour of their yard. That was not going to happen. Their house was not a tourist site, and Miss Fang said that it was not very convenient for her to show the yards of her children to outsiders. Chapter 680, Lunch here. Qiao Ko suddenly said, 1 a.m. a little tired. Can I have a rest in my sister's yard? Concubine Du's eyes sparkled, as she smiled. Yeah, they have always been good sisters and never lived separately. Sisters can share a room, can they? You will approve of that, won't you, Miss Fang? Miss Fang chuckled. That won't be possible. We have a small house with only a few rooms. Ms. Qiao has no separate room for herself. The couple are living together. You can't just rest on the couple's bed, can you? We don't have many manners, but we do have a few rules. Qiao Ko's chest heaved. She was so angry that she almost exploded. This old woman was bullying her. Even concubine Du was angered by this speech. Miss Fang felt very proud in heart. Did they think she was stupid? They were up to no good if they wanted to visit her son and daughter-in-law's room. She was not going to let that happen. Auntie Ling stiffened, but she said with a smile, it was our fault. Please don't mind. We would like to have lunch here, will that be okay with you? Miss Fang was not very happy. But she did not turn them down. She said indifferently, oh, it is just a matter of another portion of rice and some more chopsticks. That is totally okay. But we don't have much to eat at home, so you should not mind. Of course not. Auntie Ling replied with a smile. Vegetables here are fresh and we will surely like them. Miss Fang smiled too. Yeah, we have many fresh vegetables. Miss Fang kept them company and asked Yang Xiaoni to make some food. Yang San and Zhang Xir offered to help Yang Xiaoni. Miss Fang did not stop them but let them do that. Concubine Du said that she wanted to go to the bathroom, so Miss Fang had to show her the way. Concubine Du, Auntie Ling, and Qiao exchanged a look between themselves, but Miss Fang summoned Qi. Qi came in when he was called. Miss Fang said, "Keep the guests company and I will be back soon." Concubine Du, "Come with me." Qi chuckled and nodded. "Mom, I will definitely take care of the guests." The three guests were shocked. Concubine Du had just left when Shao shouted at Qi. "Who are you?" Qi replied. "Your brother-in-law is my brother." Qiao frowned and showed a disdainful look, snapping inwardly. Brother-in-law, that cultivated talent didn't deserve this title from her. He was always looked down upon by her parents, and he didn't dare to utter a sound. Your family really has no rules. We have not been served any tea ever since we came here. I am thirsty, serve me some tea. Qi looked at her. Wait. What? Elle said wait. Qi said naturally, if I leave the room, you will be alone here. Our rule is that we should never leave the guests alone. Qiao. You, Auntie Ling could not help but feel nervous. Was this family stupid for real or pretending? She did not understand. She glared at Qiao who was about to counter. But it seemed that there was no way that they could realize the plan of walking around in the house without the Shao family being involved. Chapter 681, Concealing. Qiao snorted and glared at Qi. She did not dare to disobey Auntie Ling, but she felt really unconvinced. She did not think that Auntie Ling needed to respect the Shao family so much. They could do whatever they wanted to do with them. Why bother saying such empty words? Soon, Concubine Du and Ms. Fang came back. She went away to get some tea. Since the guests asked for tea, he was going to serve it to them, for his fifth sister-in-law's sake. But he recalled how his fifth sister-in-law spoke highly of golden sprouts and lavender, which were rare, even for rich people. He thought for a while and grabbed some really old tea and poured 3 cups for the guests. In the hall, Ms. Fang kept the guests company, while in the kitchen, Yang San and Zhang Xir also tried to get something out of Yang Xiaoni regarding the Shao family. Yang Xiaoni was honest, but she was not stupid. Her fifth sister-in-law kept telling her that they should keep a low profile and make a fortune without showing off. She understood that they should conceal the wealth, or there would be trouble at the door. Exposing the family wealth would bring them trouble from those who wanted to steal it. So, when Yang Xiaoni heard them asking about what was going on in the family, she got alarmed. She kept saying that she had no idea what was going on. Yang San and Zhang Xir felt annoyed and even sneered. You are the daughter-in-law of the Shao family, how can you know nothing? Yang Xiaoni showed a natural smile. Mother-in-law is in charge and I have an elder sister-in-law. Also, my fifth sister-in-law is more capable than me, so I just do what they ask me to. The 2 maids were speechless. Honestly, after this, they decided to become lazy. They did not want to help Yang Xiaoni for real. They were only trying to get something out of Yang Xiaoni, but failed. So, they found an excuse and left the kitchen. They were servants, but they were not going to help the countryside people. Yang Xiaoni pursed her lips. She did not care. Good that they were out of the way. She did not intend to make a sumptuous lunch. Miss Fang did not need to stress because a foodie like Yang Xiaoni would not want those people to stay for lunch. So, she was not going to provide them with good food. It was a vegetarian fare. Only Ms. Su and 2 children had steamed eggs. The 3 guests were not very happy seeing the dishes. Qiao said involuntarily, you live in such a big house and have everything, but you only have these dishes for lunch? Yang San cut in. I can see many chicken and fish in the yard. Ms. Fang glanced at Yang San. She had been careless not to keep eyes out for these 2 people who took a walk in the yard. Miss Fang did not feel embarrassed and explained. Chicken should be kept for laying eggs. My elder daughter-in-law is pregnant and she needs to eat eggs every day. When she is in her first month of confinement, we would kill a few chickens for her nutrition. No one kills chicken every day, and fish are being kept to exchange them for spices. Qiao Ko sneered. We are your guests. Is this how you treat your guests? Chapter 682, Approaching MS. Fang was not afraid of her. She smiled brightly. I am not treating you as guests, right? We are a family. Qiao Ko got so stuck by her response that she had no idea what to say. That was so shameless of her. Even Auntie Ling and concubine Du were shocked. This countryside woman was not very easy to deal with. But when concubine Du realized that Xiao Xian had such an annoying mother-in-law, she assumed that Xiao Xian would not be having a good time here, so she felt slightly better. Auntie Ling still remembered their main purpose of coming here. So, instead of lingering over the minor thing, she smiled. You are right, we are a family so we can help ourselves. The vegetables from the countryside are so fresh and we can have a good taste of them. Yeah, you are right, Auntie Ling. Take a seat and eat as many fresh vegetables as possible. Miss Fang spoke as if she were offering some precious food. Auntie Ling just had no idea what else to counter back with. Young Xiaoni was not very happy that someone was here to eat lunch with them. Moreover, the dishes had no meat and there was no oil. Very basic fare. The three women were not very used to the pure vegetable dishes served on the table. After lunch was done, Auntie Ling asked concubine Du and Qiao Ko to take a rest in the wing room, whilst she had a private talk with Miss Fang. Miss Fang, in fact, Madame Qiao asked us to come here because she cares about Second Miss and her husband. We heard that Second Miss has bought many fields. I want you to show them to me, okay? In this way, we can tell Madame what we found. Miss Fang's face sank. Of course she knew that Xiao Xian had many properties, but she was not going to show them to Auntie Ling. Lipsticks were produced in the flower field, and those bee boxes kept there could earn them a lot of money, 3 times a year. So, she was not going to let Auntie Ling know about any of these, nor will she let her go and see them. She was not going to show them the garden and the fruits, as well as other herbs as well. Those were all precious things. She could not be taken to the mushroom house at the entrance of the village. Miss Qiao had told her that things inside there were very expensive too. Miss Fang had no idea what was going on at the Zhang village, but she heard that young Master Yuezheng had sent a manager to take care of them, so those things were definitely good ones as well. Miss Fang understood what dilemma she was facing right now. My daughter-in-law did buy some fields, but those are not precious ones, and have few products coming out of them. What is so good about it? Why would my in-law want you to see them? Auntie Ling gave a very meaningful smile. Miss Fang, I am just following Madame Qiao's order. She should have her own reason to do so. There is no way for me to ask her about it. Also, it is not a secret, right? Miss Fang said to herself that it was, of course, something to be kept away from her in-laws. I am not sure what Miss Qiao is doing. She uses the properties, and I never ask her about this. That made Auntie Ling feel that something was wrong. So, she insisted with a smile. I'll just want to take a look at them. You don't have any idea about where the properties are? Chapter 683, Conflict. Madame Qiao cares about the second Mississippi. If you don't tell me now, Madame Qiao would definitely send some more people here. One don't think that we need another unnecessary visit, do we? Miss Fang said to herself. Well, try another visit then. Why would they come here again? That was a trap. Miss Fang turned to the other topics, and refused to show her what she wanted. Auntie Ling felt annoyed and her face sank. Miss Fang, you keep turning me down. Is it because there is something strange in there? Madame Qiao can dig out whatever she needs to know. Do you think that you will be able to stop us forever? I can tell Madame Qiao about what is going on here. Also, why is there a locked garden behind your yard? I heard that there are many fruit trees and spring water there too. I will go and take a look at it, is that fine? Miss Fang was startled. Of course not. It was not okay. Miss Qiao owns the garden, and we can't get in there without Miss Qiao's permission. Those are just fruit trees, why insist on checking them out? Auntie Ling, maybe you can go home now, and come back to ask Miss Qiao when she is back? Nis. Fang kept turning her down, but she knew that she could not resist them forever. She just hoped that Xiao Xian and Shao Yunduan would return home as soon as possible, so they could solve the problems personally. Auntie Ling felt very irritated, hearing that this small request was turned down as well. Ms. Fang. I am addressing you respectfully, but don't think that you are someone great. No one would have a good result when countering Madam in our county. Miss Fang looked at her and sneered. Is the show finally over? I think that you must be very tired to have put on this amiable show. I can't make a decision for Miss Qiao. When she is back, you can ask her yourself. You are just giving us a bad time when you come and ask for this and that. We are countryside people and we can't afford to treat you any longer. Please leave now. Auntie Ling was so shocked that a countryside woman would disrespect Madam Qiao. She sneered and was about to say something, when Concubine Du and Qiao Ko came in, looking messy. Qiao Ko screamed. Auntie Ling, let's just go home. I am going to tell Mother that the Shao family is just ridiculous. They beat us. Auntie Ling and Ms. Fang were both shocked. Yang Xiaoni and Shao Xiaoqi, Shao Sanlang came in together, looking furious. Qi snapped and said angrily, You are the robbers. I told you not to go to the garden, but you ordered the two women to smash the door. Are you bandits? Concubine Du and Xiao Ko heard from Yang San that there was a locked garden in the backyard, and they really wanted to have a look at it. Xiao Ko could not stand the curiosity anymore. She insisted on going to check it out and ordered Yang Xiaoni and Qi to open the door. Yang Xiaoni and Qi refused. She kept cursing them and even ordering Yang San to smash the door. Qi and Yang Xiaoni could not let them do that. They stopped them and pushed them away, but Xiao Ko turned around and said that Qi and Yang Xiaoni had beaten them. Chapter 684, Spine at Home. Xiao Ko sneered. What on earth is hidden inside the garden so you won't show it to us? I will definitely find it out soon. I will tell Mother about this when we return, and she will send more people. I will see what you dare to do at that time. Auntie Ling stopped herself when she heard what Xiao Ko said. No wonder Madame Qiao sent these two to keep her company. Sometimes they did need some wild and intimidating people to deal with the problem. Miss Fang hated it when Xiao Ko behaved so arrogantly. She got so furious and snapped. Oh yeah? Trying to use your power now? We are not as noble as Madame Qiao, but we are an ordinary family who lives peacefully. How can you come and cause us trouble? Madame Qiao has sent some unreliable people and I want to argue with her about it. Xiao Ko snapped at her disdainfully. Arguing? Who did she think she was? How would she have a position to argue with her mother? Did she think that they were actually being treated as in-laws? They were nothing but rude, poor farmers. Seeing Xiao Ko treating Ms. Fang so impolitely, Shao Sanlang and Shao Xiaoqi got furious. Shao Sanlang rolled up his sleeves and shouted. Just get out of here. If you were not a woman, would have beaten you. How dare you treat my mom like this? You. Xiao Ko flushed. Rude and rough. Get out of here. Just wait and see. The three women could not stand it anymore. They had to leave in a mess. Xiao Ko kept cursing on the way home. She wished that Xiao Xian was here, so she could have made sure that the old bitch would not have snapped at them. Auntie Ling was silent all the way home. She was sure now that the Shao family had some secrets. She was thinking about how to report the news to Madame Qiao. After all, there was no evidence that proved their conjectures. Madame Qiao would not be satisfied by this result. They were going to have to give a good explanation. When the three women were gone, Miss Fang let out a sigh of relief. But soon they became agitated. What should we do? Are we not going to be able to keep a low profile any longer? Are we going to face more trouble? Yang Xiaoni was very worried. Shao Sanlang consoled them. Don't worry, fifth sister-in-law and fifth brother will soon be here. They will have some solution when they are back. Miss Fang sighed as well. But that was the problem. The two of them were the spine of the family. Qi was calm. He said, I am afraid that the third miss of the Qiao family was not joking. Madame Qiao will surely send more people here. One will go to the Zhang village and get Manager Dong here. Fifth brother and fifth sister-in-law told them to fetch Manager Dong when they ran into problems that they could not solve. This was the time to fetch him. Civilians could not fight with officers, and they would not be able to confront Madame Qiao by themselves. Miss Fang was slightly relieved. She nodded and asked Qi to do that. Manager Dong was from the Yuezhing family, so he would be able to face Auntie Ling bravely. The moment Qi told Manager Dong about this, he frowned. Someone must have informed Madame Qiao about Mrs. Shao's properties. They have not got the confirmation they were looking for, so they will definitely come back again. I will follow you back to Shaoding village, young Master Qi, and I will be residing in your place these days. How does that sound? Chapter 685, Unconvinced. For security's sake, one will write a letter to young Master Yuezheng and tell him about this. Manager Dong was Yuezheng Shao's trusted servant, and his young master told him repeatedly about the Shao family. Hence, he was very concerned about whatever was happening to them. He knew about the lipsticks, so based on that, his own young master was definitely going to protect the first section of the Shao family, let alone their deep relationship. Qi was very happy to hear that. He nodded with a smile. That is the best. Thanks for your help, Brother Dong. Manager Dong went back with Qi to the village whilst on the other side, Qiao Ko also passed on the happenings of the day to Madame Qiao. With the narration of Auntie Ling's exaggerated stories, Madame Qiao and Qiao Wei got very furious. How dare the Shao family do things like this? But they can do nothing when I want to know something about them. Qiao Wei snapped. Mom, there is something wrong going on here. We have underestimated the damned girl Qiao Xian. She has been pretending all this while. I will not forgive her when she comes back. Qiao Ko added. Elle knew that. Qiao Xian always liked pretending. She never had a good heart. Now you believe what I said, mother and sister. Qiao Wei said, Mom, ask Auntie Ling to take more people to pay them another visit tomorrow. Madame Qiao sneered. Auntie Ling, take some police officers there as well. Let's see what the Shao family is capable of. Qiao Wei's eyes sparkled. Yeah, that is right. Qiao Ko was very glad too. She proposed automatically. Mother, I will go along with them tomorrow too so that I can regain the face for you. Concubine Du disapproved of this proposal, but she did not dare say anything. Madame Qiao did not care. She said nothing. Qiao Ko could do anything and go anywhere she wanted because she did not mind if it was Qiao Ko or the Shao family who got into trouble. She and Qiao Wei would never be there personally. That was beneath them. The Shao family were not good enough for them to investigate personally. But when they learned of Qiao Xian's properties much later, they regretted it terribly. After all, when Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan were missing, and the two of them broke into Qiao Xian's place and found all those properties, they would have been able to take them for their own. Even Ms. Fang and her children would not be able to stop it. But they did not do that, thus missing the only chance they could possibly have. The first section of the Shao family did not expect Auntie Ling and Qiao Ko to come over so soon. Nor did they expect that they brought along 2 police officers. Police officers were serious officials, so 2 of them were already enough. Besides, it had been Madame Qiao who got the 2 of them transferred here personally, so the whole action was done in a very quiet manner. Miss Fang and her family were slightly scared looking at the scene. But Manager Dong was present beside them, luckily. Manager Dong stepped forward and spoke with the 2 policemen, mentioning that the properties belonged to Yuezheng Shao's, whilst the Shao family were just in charge of watching them over. If they wanted to have a look at them, they needed to write a letter to Yuezheng Shao who would come and have a talk with them personally. But before Yuezheng Shao was here, no one would be able to go into those places. The 2 officers had to believe that. They could not counter the Yuezheng family from the province. Qiao Ko did not care. She wanted to break in, no matter what. But she could not move the 2 police officers, since she was not capable enough. The 2 police officers could not just leave without making a deal with Manager Dong. So, they decided to wait for young Master Zhang, who was going to arrive after 3 days. After this, they would be able to speak with Madame Qiao about this personally. Chapter 686, County Magistrate Qiao's idea. If he could not make it after 3 days, then Madame Qiao's order would have to be put into implementation. Manager Dong communicated on behalf of the Shao family, and sent his worker to pass on the message to the province urgently. Auntie Ling and her group returned without receiving any results. Madame Qiao started to feel skeptical. But she could not just provoke the Zhang family by breaking into their properties. The old master had already forced many rich people to give him money, and he was not very liked among the rich households currently. If the Zhang family were offended as well, those rich households would combine forces with the Zhang family to cause them trouble. The old master's future was very important, and they had to be very careful about it. Hearing the news, Shao did not dare delay it by even a second. But Shao Yunduan was going to take the imperial examination within 5 days, so after thinking about it, Shao concealed the incident from Shao Yunduan and Xiao Xian, and went to the county personally. If he could solve the problem, he did not need to bother Shao Yunduan and worry him. Sure enough, Shao went to visit County Magistrate Qiao and recounted the whole story. Only then did County Magistrate Qiao realize what his wife had done behind his back. He got furious and gave his wife a warning. Then, he politely consoled Shao. He even asked Shao what his relationship was with Shao Yunduan. Shao did not conceal things at this point. He smiled and expressed that he appreciated Shao Yunduan, especially after he arrived in the province and attended many gatherings. He managed to attract even young Master Xia's attention. County Magistrate Qiao was shocked to hear that. Shao sneered inwardly. Officer Qiao was indeed very concerned about his own interest. He was not even bothered to conceal that. Good, if the Zhang family was not strong enough, Xia Jingrong's name could keep the first section of the Shao family safe for a while. Officer Qiao smiled pretentiously. My son-in-law managed to attract young Master Xia's attention. He is very lucky. That is not luck. Shao smiled. Brother Xia has always had a high standard in seeing people. People without talents would not be appreciated by him. Officer Qiao's heart skipped a beat. He believed the words completely. He even felt that Shao must be paying attention to him because Shao Yunduan attracted young Master Xia's attention. He believed that Shao was here to tell him that he was a good friend of Shao Yunduan's. Young Master Xia was very arrogant, and it was normal that he appreciated people with talents. But did he really see Shao Yunduan wrong? Was he actually that capable? Officer Qiao smiled again. You are right, young master, my son-in-law does have some talent. But how do you think he will perform at the imperial examination this time? Shao was sneering inwardly. Brother Shao is very talented. I believe that he will definitely have a good rank this time. He was not bragging about Shao Yunduan. Xia Jingrong spoke highly of this man, and he trusted Xia Jingrong's judgment. He had a hunch that Shao Yunduan would make it, for some reason. He could tell that Shao Yunduan was very confident. When a down-to-earth and steady man expressed that he was confident, he really was. Officer Qiao cheered inwardly. He could not even conceal his smile and nodded. Good, good, one new Yunduan was a good one. He has lived up to my expectations. Chapter 687, The Zhao Family and the Trouble. Shao smiled. Then, congratulations to you, Officer Qiao. Thank you, thank you. So, Shao solved all the problems on this visit. Now, whether Shao Yunduan could make it this time, thanks to his relationship with Shao and Xia Jingrong, County Magistrate Qiao would not do anything bad to this son-in-law of his. He understood clearly how difficult it was to become a recommended man. Very few people could make it on their first try. Even some capable ones could not make it because the competition was very fierce. Shao Yunduan was young and he would have many chances in the future. Officer Qiao was never going to let go of a son-in-law like that. Officer Qiao lectured Madame Qiao and told her never to cause trouble to the first section of the Shao family, at least before the examination result was announced. Before he was able to figure out Shao Yunduan's relationship with Xie Jingrong, nothing like this would be allowed. Madame Qiao's heart ached. Qiao Wei was very displeased too. Qiao Ko was shocked. How could that be possible? A man like Shao Yunduan should not have any relationship with young Master Xie. He was not even good enough to be his servant. If Shao Yunduan could suck up to young Master Xie, then it meant that Qiao Xian had the chance to meet young Master Xie and have a promising future. That could not be right. Qiao Ko wanted to grab Qiao Xian and interrogate her thoroughly. Madame Qiao did not think that Shao Yunduan would be successful. So, she said angrily, let's wait and see. As long as Shao Yunduan failed, she had all kinds of solutions to change old master's opinions towards Shao Yunduan. They would just wait for now. But Qiao Wei was in a hurry. She could not stand it whenever she thought about this. So, she went to Zhao Ming but did not tell her about Shao Yunduan's relationship with Yuezhing Shao and Xie Jingrong. She told Zhao Ming to do something against the Shao family and she was going to help her clear everything, irrespective of what she did. She also promised that she was going to help the Zhao family to get back the money her father got from them. Zhao Ming had been very angry about being humiliated by the first section of the Shao family, so she was motivated hearing the suggestion. That was such a huge amount of money. If she could get it back, her parents would be so happy. Zhao Ming was alone and not powerful enough. She was in a good relationship with her brother Zhao Guanghua, so she went to her brother and talked about this. She and Yu were very annoyed because of what happened last time, so they decided to take revenge this time now that the chance was at their door. The two of them made a plan with Zhao Ming and tried to convince Zhao Guanghua. Zhao Guanghua thought of the money, also of Yang Xiaoni, and was reassured of Qiao Wei's promise, so he approved of this proposal. He told Zhao Ming, "You are a girl, and you don't have to get involved in this personally. I will deal with the rest." Zhao Ming only needed a result. So, she agreed happily. What Qiao Wei wanted was that they could ruin the first section of the Shao family and their reputation would be destroyed. But Zhao Guanghua was dreaming about Yang Xiaoni, so he decided to start working on her first. In his opinion, if he could get Yang Xiaoni in his hands and bring a prostitute to ruin Shao Sanlang's reputation, then Qiao Wei's mission would be accomplished. Zhao Guanghua understood that it could not be done recklessly, so he decided to make use of Yang Liang, based on what they had heard. Hearing the plan, Yang Liang turned really angry. He snapped at Zhao Guanghua. He might not be a good brother, but he was not going to ruin his sister's life. Chapter 688, Fake Brother and Sister. But even though Yang Liang did not like it, Ms. Tian was very motivated to do so. She had been trying to find a way to take revenge on that bitch and now the chance had come. Ms. Tian ignored Yang Liang's prevention, and accepted the 20 liang that she offered. She could tell that the couple had different ideas. So, he said that he would come back the next day and left. The moment she was gone, Yang Liang shouted angrily at Ms. Tian. "Why did you accept the money? You go and return the money. She is my sister, real sister, how could you, how dare you treat her like this?" Ms. Tian sneered and put away the money. She did not care about Yang Liang's anger, and snapped back. "Real sister? She is living such a good life, and she has never spared a thought to you. Bah, real sister." Poked in his aching spot, Yang Liang became embarrassed but felt regretful too. "Shame on you. You treated her badly, that is why, and you were dead?" Ms. Tian sneered and broke through his hypocrisy. "Elle treated her badly and you knew that clearly. But you said nothing. Now you are solely blaming me for it? Hee hee. Elle think that you treated her like that before, so you don't need to call her your real sister now. Also, the young Master Zhao can take her as a concubine even though she is married. What is so wrong about it? She can be young Master Zhao's concubine and will have maids serving her, without any worries about food and clothes. Isn't that better than what she has now? We are doing this for her sake as well." Also, young Master Zhao is trying to teach the Shao family a lesson, and it means that he really likes that girl. Otherwise, she will fall into trouble together with the Shao family. The Shao family is nothing compared to the Zhao family, and they are definitely going to lose this time. Will you like it when she suffers? Anyway, we are doing this for her sake. She will thank us when she knows our purpose in the future. I have accepted the money and I am not returning it. Else, you can return it to the Zhao family yourself. Yang Liang was speechless. He sat down on the ground with his hands over his head, letting out a long mess. Tian realized that her husband was convinced. She sneered proudly and knew that Yang Liang had no opinion of his own. She could do anything she wanted with him. She would do whatever to teach Yang Xiaoni a lesson, even if she was not paid. That damned girl had no heart. She was living a good life but cut off her relationship with them. She had never visited them since she got married. If Yang Xiaoni was so ruthless, then she could do anything she wanted too. When Yuezheng Shao dealt with the problem, the Zhao family had not yet started their plan on the Shao family. So, Yuezheng Shao did not know about this. Hence, Yuezheng Shao only told them about what Madame Qiao did to the Shao family and how Manager Dong dealt with the problem. Brother Shao, sister-in-law, I should have told you earlier about this. But I was worried that you would be affected by it and may not do well in the examination. That would have been a pity. Most importantly, I was able to deal with this problem myself. Chapter 689, Going Home, It Was My Fault, Anyway. Brother Shao, sister-in-law, please forgive me. Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan looked at each other transfixedly. They were shocked. They had never expected that such a thing would happen at home. They had not expected that Madame Qiao would send her people to cause trouble at this juncture. Luckily, Qi turned to ask him for help, otherwise Madame Qiao would have discovered everything they had been trying to hide. They would never blame Yuezheng Shao for this. He was already very devoted to their well-being. He made this decision because he treated them as real friends. Brother Yuezheng, you really make me feel so ashamed of myself. Shao Yunduan replied emotionally. We are not ungrateful people. Actually, we should thank you for your help, Brother Yuezheng. Qiao Xian added. Yeah. Most importantly, it has been solved and everything is fine. As Qiao Xian thought of Shao Yunduan who had become the provincial champion, she smiled and added. We will be fine henceforth. All of them understood what she meant and laughed. They did not need to hide the secret any longer. When Shao Yunduan became the provincial champion, they would announce their relationship with the Yuezheng family and Xie Jingrong. In this way, the Qiao family would never dare to think about taking possession of their properties. The three of them exchanged a few words and charted out a strategy about how to make the details about the properties public. It was very late by the time they finished. Yuezheng Shao felt assured, thinking that they did not blame them for making the decision on his own. He was about to leave since it was getting dark when Shao Yunduan said, Brother Yuezheng, I am thinking about going home with my wife tomorrow. Could you please help us to deal with the rest of the affairs here? If someone asks where I am going, please tell them that I need to go home to deal with some urgent matters. Shao Yunduan was not entirely assured that the problem was solved. He knew fairly well what Madame Qiao was capable of. If the news that he was the provincial champion reached the county, he could not be sure that Madame Qiao would not do anything against his family. After all, she hated his wife so deeply. Maybe she would blame her for hiding everything. Yuezheng Shao understood that he could not stop Shao Yunduan at this moment. He nodded resolutely. In this case, I will arrange the wagon to take you home. I and Brother Xia are here to help you. It is a little sad that you are back so soon, but we should have more chances in the future for other things. Shao Yunduan smiled with a gesture. Thanks, Brother Yuezheng. Don't mention it. After Yuezheng Shao left, Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan packed up swiftly, ready to leave early the next morning. They had lived here for a long while and Qiao Xian bought many things. But they could not take too many back home, since the trip tomorrow was going to be very quick. Qiao Xian decided to take Li Qiao back and let Li Xia stay. She told her to work with Yuezhing Shao, who could send her back home later. If she did not understand something, she could turn to Auntie Hua, who worked for First Madam. But she should be cautious about Second Mrs. Yuezheng and her daughter. Qiao Xian even gave her 10,000 liang and a letter for Yuezhing Shao, asking him to buy out the land she had set her eyes on. Li Xia nodded nervously, but she felt excited as well. Mrs. Shao seemed to trust her and hence, instructed her to do these tasks. If she could do these well, she could become one of her most trustworthy maids. Mrs. Shao was an upright person and she would definitely ensure a good future for her. Li Xia felt so lucky to have been bought off by Qiao Xian. Chapter 690, Ms. Tian's plan. The dawn had just broken, when Qiao Xian, Shao Yunduan and Li Qiao were hurrying back home. They knew Madame Qiao and Xiao Wei well, so even though they kept consoling each other, they still desired to arrive home as soon as possible. Evil and reckless people would always do something unexpected, something beyond their expectation. Shao Yunduan did not attend the gatherings of the recommended men. Yuezheng Shao helped him to explain to others that Shao Yunduan needed to go home for some urgent matters at home. The others all understood what happened. One could not be delayed when he needed to deal with something at home. After she and Ms. Tian made the deal, Zhao Guanghua came to Yang Liang's home in a low-profile manner the following morning. Thinking that he could get hold of the beautiful girl she had been dreaming of, Zhao Guanghua felt so motivated. Nis. Tian received Zhao Guanghua and his servant passionately, and Zhao Guanghua was generous enough to give her a small amount of money again. Yang Liang wasn't feeling well. He remained silent, sitting in the corner with his head lowered. Ms. Tian looked down at him. He had approved of this proposal as well. What was the point of pretending now? When everything was settled at home, Ms. Tian went to Yang Xiaoni with 2 crying children, saying that Yang Liang had just rolled off the hill and got seriously injured. Maybe he would be paralyzed for the rest of his life. She expected her to come and take a look at him since he was her brother after all. No one doubted that Ms. Tian would lie about this. She could not have been so evil as to joke about this, right? Yang Xiaoni panicked as well. She felt empty in heart. She did not hold any hope towards Yang Liang, but bloodline was a strange thing. So, when she heard about Yang Liang's accident, Yang Xiaoni could not be so cruel as not to visit her brother, after all. Shao Sanlang wanted to keep them company, but halfway there, Ms. Tian again cried and asked Shao Sanlang to fetch a reliable doctor in the town. They were too poor to hire someone good and the doctor in the village could not be of much help. Shao Sanlang could not turn her down. Hiring a doctor was nothing to him because the amount was quite little. So, he nodded and left. Yang Xiaoni went back home with Ms. Tian alone. As they reached the familiar yet strange-looking yard, Yang Xiaoni stopped her steps and felt a little blurry in mind. This place used to be her nightmare, and she thought that she would never come back after she left. But here she was, again. She did need to visit her brother if he was about to get paralyzed. It was just a visit, wasn't it? Ms. Tian smiled at Yang Xiaoni seeing that she stopped. What are you staring at? Come in. Yang Xiaoni's heart throbbed. She suddenly had a strange feeling. Her brother treated her terribly, but he liked Ms. Tian. He was the backbone of the family, and if he got sick, Ms. Tian would not have been able to show a smile at this juncture. Yang Xiaoni was a very open-minded person, not a cautious one. But Ms. Tian had never treated her nicely. At this moment though, she seemed so different. That was very weird. Chapter 691, Suspicion. Yang Xiaoni said as she walked into the yard, "Is Yang Liang so seriously injured?" Hearing that Yang Xiaoni did not even address her husband as brother, Ms. Tian cursed her inwardly. But she did not want to cause any trouble at the moment. So, she did not pick on Yang Xiaoni but sighed pretentiously. Of course. He is lying in the room. You should go and take a look at him, and speak with him too. Yang Xiaoni looked at Ms. Tian in surprise and her heart was throbbing. Nis. Tian did not call her a ruthless and cruel girl. That was very strange. Yang Xiaoni might not be so skeptical towards others, except for Ms. Tian. She had been living under Ms. Tian's dominance for years, and she survived to this stage because she knew Ms. Tian well. She knew exactly what Ms. Tian was like. Suddenly, she felt that something was very wrong. How could Ms. Tian treat her so kindly? Yang Xiaoni did not want to enter the house. She said, "Elle will wait for Sanlang until he comes back with the doctor." Ms. Tian's face changed. She gripped Yang Xiaoni's arm and dragged her in. "What are you waiting for here? You have no heart, your brother is injured and you don't even want to look at him?" Yang Xiaoni shrugged away her hand and said, "Get off me, now." "Shut up now. I can drag you in." "You." Yang Xiaoni was used to doing labor work, and she was physically strong. Miss Tian could not control her. The two women started fighting with each other in the yard. Miss Tian was worried that her money would be gone if she didn't succeed now, so she shouted loudly, "Shut the main gate now, now." She and Do complained about Miss Tian being useless, so they rushed out of the room. "It is you." Yang Xiaoni soon recognized the two people who had tried to grab her earlier. Scared and frightened, she did not even have time to curse Miss Tian when she pushed her away, rushing towards the gate. "Stop." She and Do rushed out. If the gate was closed and they gagged her, no one would see anything, and the matter would go smoothly. But if Yang Xiaoni rushed out, there was nothing they could do. People were milling around the village. They were not brave enough to rob a girl in broad daylight. Yang Xiaoni was panicking. The gate was right in front of her, but she felt that she was not going to make it. She and Do were right behind her. Right then, Yang Liang, who had been ordered to stay in the room, rushed out and bumped into she and Do, who collapsed on the ground. Yang Xiaoni was suddenly relieved. She rushed out without looking back. "Bitch, stop now." Miss Tian did not give up and instead sped out. Yang Xiaoni asked for help when she was rushing out. Help me please." Miss Tian wanted to beat her to death. "Stop it, shut up now." Some villagers were on the way and they saw the scene, feeling surprised. "Hey, Xiaoni is here." "What is wrong? So confusing." "Yeah, she had just reached the entrance of the village when a donkey cart came towards her." Chapter 692, Encounter halfway. Shao Sanlang hopped off the donkey cart and ran into Yang Xiaoni. "Brother Sanlang." Yang Xiaoni threw herself into Shao Sanlang's arms, crying loudly and feeling miserable. Miss Tian's heart sank. She turned around and decided to run away. Qiao Xian and Qiao had already hopped off the donkey cart and caught up with Miss Tian, who had already become exhausted. They gripped her tightly. Qiao Xian gave her a sarcastic smile. "Miss Tian, what are you running for? You know you can run but you can't hide. Let go of me. Now." Miss Tian struggled out and snapped at her. "I am not running. I have not done anything wrong." Qiao Xian replied coldly. "You wish you didn't." Yang Xiaoni spilled out the story in Shao Sanlang's arms. Shao Sanlang got so furious that he shouted loudly at Miss Tian. Qiao Xian said, "Many people must have seen what happened today. We should clarify the matter so that people won't guess randomly. What do you think?" Shao Sanlang glared at Miss Tian, and then turned to Yang Xiaoni. Yang Xiaoni wiped her tears and sobbed. "Whatever you say, fifth sister-in-law. In this case, we will go to fifth Grandma Yang. We are also going to speak with the land officer and the elderly men from the clan today." Miss Tian did not agree with her. But Qiao Xian and Qiao were not loosening their grip on her. Shao Sanlang and Shao Yunduan went to fetch Yang Liang and brought him to fifth Grandma Yang's home. As for Zhao Guanghua and his servants, they had already escaped. But they were not going to get away with this. Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan's wagon had just run into Shao Sanlang, who was going into the town with the bullock cart. They got down and greeted each other. Shao Sanlang was very happy seeing them come back. When he heard that Shao Yunduan was the provincial champion, he smiled brightly. It was already 4 in the afternoon, and Shao Sanlang must be heading into the town for some urgent matter. Xiao Yinduan asked him about it. Shao Sanlang told the story. Qiao Xian burst out immediately. Third brother, how can you leave the third sister-in-law alone with the Yang family? You know how they treat her. Shao Sanlang was shocked. He replied hesitantly. It should be fine, right? You know, Yang Liang was lying still and nothing would happen to Yang Xiaoni at this time, right? Qiao Xian replied. I'll think we should be careful. Miss Tian is never up to any good and she might bully the third sister-in-law. Shao Yunduan agreed with her. Third brother, I think my wife is right. Shao Sanlang panicked, hearing the couple's words. What? What should we do? I will go back and take a look. Shao Yunduan was not very assured by this straight-minded brother of his. He could not handle a fierce woman like Ms. Tian. In fact, even he could not do so. But things were different at this moment. He was Mr. Provincial Champion, and when this identity was revealed, he did not need to deal with Ms. Tian personally. Darling, let's go with him. Qiao Xian nodded. Okay, let's go now. They would arrive home later tonight, and could finish this task on the way. Shao Yinduan asked Chu Shan to hire a doctor from the town, whilst Qiao Xian, Shao Yinduan and Li Qiao went onto the donkey cart with Shao Sanlang as the driver. They headed towards the Yang village. Chapter 693, Pressure Then. This was the scene that they ran into. Qiao Xian was right. Something was wrong. Miss Tian's expression told them that Yang Liang was completely healthy. When they asked in the village, everyone was shocked. Yang Liang is seriously injured? Of course not, I saw him wandering around in the village yesterday at noon. Yeah. The couple are so lazy, how can they go to the hill and get injured? Ha ha ha. Shame on them. They lied just to get Xiaoni home? That is so bad. That is totally over the top. But Xiaoni is also bad. She doesn't want to speak with her brother and sister-in-law. No matter what the truth was, the news had been spread. Yang Xiaoni, Qiao Xian and Li Qiao forced Ms. Tian to visit 5th Grandma Yang, and everyone went to see the show of Yang Liang's family. When they met 5th Grandma Yang, Qiao Xian greeted her politely and narrated the story briefly. Then, she accidentally spilled out the news that her husband had not only become a recommended man, but also the provincial champion. They were just hurrying home to pass on the good news to their family, but ran into such a thing halfway. Yang Xiaoni was surprised and glad, whilst Miss Tian turned pale. The others exploded vividly, when Qiao Xian's words were heard. What? Did I get it right? Shao Yunduan is a recommended man now. Mr. Recommended Man? And Ms. Qiao said he is ranked first. Is that true? Of course yes, who dares make such a lie? Shao Yunduan, no. Cultivated talent Shao, no. Recommended man Shao, you are so capable. 5th Grandma Yang's family felt so honored when they heard that. They kept saying congratulations to Qiao Xian and her husband and started to show a lot more enthusiasm and politeness towards Yang Xiaoni. 5th Grandma Yang, without hesitation, asked her children to get land officer and the elderly men from the clan over. Soon, Shao Yunduan's success in the examination spread across the Yang village. Soon, Yang Liang was escorted there. Shao Sanlang became the brother of Mr. Recommended Man, whilst Yang Xiaoni was the sister-in-law of Mr. Recommended Man. Moreover, this recommended man was the provincial champion. What did that mean? It meant that he had the biggest chance to become the advanced scholar next year in the spring examination. After all, he was the first one in the whole province. At that time, he would become an officer. Who would want to offend an officer for people like Yang Liang and Ms. Tian? They were definitely going to help this potential officer. It was a very easy process of interrogation. Under heavy pressure, Ms. Tian soon confessed everything, without being brave anymore. But she was not regretful. She kept complaining about Yang Xiaoni for being cruel. But for her ruthlessness, she would not have been tempted to do something like this. Young Xiaoni got annoyed hearing that. Some people from the young village tried to tell young Xiaoni to be tolerant and open-minded. If young Xiaoni could help their village now when Shao Yunduan was rising in his position, their village might possibly become promising as well. So, they all hoped that young Xiaoni could accept her brother and sister-in-law's apology. That would make the Shao family's relationship with the young village better. Chapter 694. Divorce. Young village would feel honored even as they spread the news. Qiao Xian said coldly, "You have made a huge mistake and almost ruined my third brother and my third sister-in-law's life. How dare you blame her? My third sister-in-law is from the young village, and she will always remember that. But she will never accept you as her family." Shao Yunduan added. "I am planning to establish a school in the village and I will buy 400 mu of good fields to support the school costs. I am also going to invite children from the village to attend the school. The young village is very close to my village, and I can spare 10 places in the school for this village." People's eyes were sparkling already. They were both surprised and happy. Really? For real? The land officer tried to press down the excitement in his heart. Recommended man Shao, are you sure? Of course, I am not going to lie in front of you, right? Those students will not have to pay a penny for the tuition fees. They will get ink and paper on a monthly basis too. That is great. Yeah, my son can attend the school without tuition fees and even get the paper and ink. I can really afford to let them study. Same here. I don't expect them to be very successful. The title of a cultivated talent can get them a job at a bank in the town. Yeah, being able to read leads to more work opportunities. They were talking as they threw unkind looks at Yang Liang and Ms. Tian. Everyone started to curse the couple. They did not stop until the land officer asked them to. But they all said that Ms. Tian should be punished and thrown out of the family. This evil-hearted woman should not stay at the young village to ruin the young village's reputation. The land officer thought so too. He had never liked Ms. Tian, who was so unreasonable, and Yang Liang could not even control her. He was the land officer, but he had not been able to get involved in villagers' family affairs. So, if she could be driven away on this occasion, that would be great. No one would want her to stay here any longer. Nis. Tian had no supporters around her. She panicked as she shouted at Yang Xiaoni. Yang Xiaoni, I gave you food and shelter, but you are driving me out? You should think about your brother and your 2 nephews. If your parents were alive and saw their grandchildren losing their mother at this age, they would never forgive you. With that, she burst out into tears. Yang Xiaoni could not stand it. She turned away, saying nothing. Shao Sanlang snapped at her though. Shut your mouth. You almost got my wife killed. Why should she forgive you? Qiao Xian said, Ms. Tian, stop blaming my third sister-in-law for anything. You caused your son's misfortune. But for your evil plans, land officer and elder men from the clan would never have driven you out. You don't deserve to be part of the young village. Why is my third sister-in-law involved in this? You are a ruthless woman and you may not be a good mother. Maybe your sons would be taught by you to do something even worse. The land officer, who had been hesitating, made up his mind after hearing Qiao Xian's words. Divorce now. Ms. Tian will be sent to the ancestral hall and afterwards, she will be sent back to her home the following morning. No, you can't treat me like this. Ms. Tian burst out into tears. The 2 children were very scared and started crying too. Yang Liang suddenly stepped forward. Land officer, and elders. Don't make me divorce her. We will leave the young village and will never come back. I swear, we will never return. Chapter 695. Cut off. Yang Liang had always been bullied by Ms. Tian, but he relied on Ms. Tian heavily. He was used to her. He just could not imagine how to survive without Ms. Tian, and how to bring up his 2 sons. He never imagined marrying again. He had no money to afford a new wife. Allos, no woman from any good family would be willing to marry him. That was why he made the suggestion. They were all shocked, including young Xiaoni. Honestly, when they left the hometown and the protection of their clan, it would be very difficult to set up a base somewhere else. Especially young Liang and Ms. Tian, who were lazy, poor, and had no skills for anything. They would simply be waiting for death without the house and the fields that they had now. Young Xiaoni's heart ached. In her brother's heart, she simply did not exist. Otherwise, he would not have defended Ms. Tian at this point. Anyway, she thought of how young Liang rushed forward to bump away the two bandits, because of which she got the chance to slip away. Otherwise, young Xiaoni closed her eyes in pain. This was the last time. Uncle Land Officer, they don't have to leave the village. But I want you all to be my witness today. I am going to break off my family ties with him, and we will never have anything to do with each other. Moreover, this is the last time. If you ever set me up again, I will report you to the government office. One swear I will. Miss Tian let out a sigh of relief hearing that they did not need to leave. She was about to counter young Xiaoni to ask something more, when Yang Liang answered his sister. Okay, we will break up our relationship with each other. We will never have anything to do with each other, ever. He could not meet her again anyways. He was too ashamed. It was good that they just stopped having a family bond. He did not prevent her from getting set up today, after all. Seeing her rushing about anxiously, he suddenly felt bold and rushed up to bump away the two bandits. That was all he could do. He knew that he was stupid and useless, but what else could he do? Qiao Xian smiled. Good. Then, we write it down on the paper, and seal it with 3 copies. We will keep one for ourselves, one for the Yang Village's Ancestral Hall archives, and the third will be for Yang Liang and his wife. We have to write clearly why the relationship has been broken, in case people try to spread rumors later. Neither side had anything against that suggestion, except for Ms. Tian, but she did not dare say a thing. So the whole thing was settled. The letter was written and signed. From that moment on, young Xiaoni was a complete stranger for Yang Liang and his family. Everyone from the village sighed. It served the couple right. If they had not been so critical towards young Xiaoni, they would flourish too when young Xiaoni married into such a good family. They would definitely have gotten something good, and their situation would have become much better than what it was now. Recommended man Shao had a promising future, and young Xiaoni was his sister-in-law. That was such a great honor. But now young Liang and his wife had nothing to do with their sister anymore. Ms. Tian looked furious. She did not seem to be willing to break off the relationship. Was she still trying to get something good out of it? In her dreams. Chapter 696, Gratitude. The audiences sighed and some cheered looking at this show. Shao Yinduan again reassured the land officer that when the school at Shaoding village was built, the Yang village would get 10 free seats along with ink and paper. Everyone from the Yang village was satisfied and left happily. No one cared what happened to Ms. Tian. After this incident, it was already dark when Shao Yunduan and Qiao Xian returned home. The rest of the family were dumbfounded seeing the couple coming back with Shao Sanlang and young Xiaoni. It took them a long while before Ms. Fang realized that it was not a dream. The family cheered happily. Her son and daughter-in-law were back. The backbone of the family was back. Ms. Fang asked how young Liang was doing. She got furious hearing the story told by them. Thank goodness that young Xiaoni was lucky. Shao Sanlang ran into Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan, and thanks to their reminder, young Xiaoni was saved. Ms. Fang said, "Third, and Ms. Yang, you must be grateful to Yunduan and Ms. Qiao. You were saved because of them." Ms. Fang sighed emotionally. This son of hers and his wife were incomparable to anyone else in the family. With them around, she did not need to worry about anything. Before Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan could refuse, Shao Sanlang and Yang Xiaoni nodded and gave the couple a deep bow, almost bending their back. Thank you so much, fifth brother and fifth sister-in-law. Thank you so much for what you did for us today. Thank you so much, fifth brother and fifth sister-in-law. Oh please, don't be like this. Third brother, please, get up now. Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan felt a bit embarrassed. They helped Yang Xiaoni and Shao Sanlang stand up. Miss Fang said seriously, "It is fine. They should thank you. Both of you, always remember this favor they did for you." Shao Sanlang and Yang Xiaoni nodded and looked grateful. This was definitely something they had to remember forever. But for this coincidence, they just could not imagine what the consequences would have been like. Maybe Yang Xiaoni was taken back by Ms. Tiana. There would be many rumors circulating after that, if Shao Yunduan and Xiao Xian had not brought them along with the land officer and elderly men from the clan to make a clarification. Once the gossip was spread, there was no way to make it clear. As the time passed, the gossip would turn real, and no argument would be able to bring out the actual truth. Neither way would work out. Even if she killed herself, people would say that she must be too ashamed to live. Rumors could kill, no matter whether it was true or false. Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan did not turn them down but accepted the gratitude. "Finally, you are back. Let's wait at home for the announcement of the result. You must be very tired after the long trip. Tao Tao, Xiaoni, go and make dinner. Steam the smoked sausage, stir-fried cured duck with garlic sprouts, steam and make some egg custard, along with fried eggplant and long beans. Let's eat first and take a good rest. We will talk about everything tomorrow." Tao Tao and Yang Xiaoni went to cook food. Shao Yunduan and Xiao Xian exchanged a smiling look and said, "Dad, Mom, elder brother, elder sister-in-law, the results were announced yesterday. I am a recommended man, as well as the provincial champion." Shao Sanlang smiled. "Yeah, our brother is so intelligent." Everyone present, Miss Fang, eldest uncle, and everyone else was shocked. Ms. Su was the first to recover and started laughing. "Parents, this is great. This is wonderful news." Chapter 697, Mother-in-law's plan, ha ha ha. "Yeah, great news, wonderful news. Yunduan finally made it. Ha ha ha." Miss Fang finally realized what was going on. She kept laughing and felt like she was floating in the air. This was indeed brilliant and delightful news. The whole family cheered happily and passed on congratulations to each other. Their words were all jumbled up and no one knew what they were talking about in the end. All they knew was that Shao Yunduan became a recommended man and ranked first in the examination. They were so glad. A long while later, the excitement settled down a little. Then, they started to talk with each other, asking about Shao Yunduan's examination. Shao Yunduan and Xiao Xian had been calm about the results ages ago, but when they were surrounded by the cheerfulness of the family, they were delighted nonetheless. Shao Yunduan smiled and answered every question patiently. Their questions were all asked out of curiosity, strange but interesting. It was a lively scene in the family. Tao Tao and Yang Xiaoni had finished making dinner and asked Shao Yunduan and Xiao Xian to come over and eat. The family was sincere when offering them the food. They were truly happy for them. Miss Fang kept asking Shao Yunduan to eat as much as possible. She felt very concerned when she heard that Shao Yunduan spent 9 days in the examination room. The simple dishes served at home were full of homely taste and warmth. Miss Fang glanced at elder uncle, asking suddenly, "Oh yes, are we supposed to inform the other brothers about Shao Yunduan becoming the provincial champion so they can celebrate with us?" Everyone was startled. Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan exchanged a knowing look. Their mother was up to something. Eldest uncle's first reaction wasn't good. His face changed. "Of course, yes, definitely." For some reason, eldest uncle now had subtle feelings towards the other 2 sections. He suddenly felt that since Shao Yunduan had become provincial champion, the other 2 sections of the family were not at the same level as them now. Everyone was looking at him openly or secretly. They were not surprised by the moves on his face. Miss Fang sneered inwardly. Wasn't he the one talking about one family and all? Now that they had such great news, he didn't even want to tell them in case they got angry. What was wrong with Yunduan being excellent? Nis. Fang asked intentionally. How about you visit them now and share the news with them? Eldest uncle coughed slightly, turning down the suggestion. It is getting so late, we can wait until tomorrow. Also, we have hidden Yunduan's participation from everyone. Lu Lang even asked about this specifically. I never told him that Yunduan went for the examination. How can I explain it to them now? He was simply blaming the others between lines. Qiao Xian pursed her lips. Miss Fang was very displeased, and so was the elder brother. Miss Fang firmly believed that what her son and daughter-in-law told them to do was right, and that they should follow their instructions. Qiao Xian knew clearly what was going on with Shao Lulang. He was never up to any good. Chapter 698, Eldest Uncle's anger. It was not something that could not be explained. But Eldest Uncle would not believe that Shao Lulang would be up to anything evil. He would never believe it. Maybe he would even tell Shao Lulang the truth just to prove that he was never up to any bad. Due to this, Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan did not explain the reason why the family should keep the trip to the province a secret. That made Eldest Uncle very displeased. Qiao Xian said, Dad, that is very easy to explain. Just tell them that it is not auspicious to say things ahead of time. That is our belief, isn't that okay? L like this excuse. Miss Fang agreed readily. Eldest Uncle felt even more annoyed. He threw a blaming look at Qiao Xian. This is ridiculous. Why did you keep it a secret? Can't you say that now? Shao Yunduan put down the chopsticks. That doesn't matter now. Dad, you don't have to ask about it anymore. My wife and one are doing everything for the family's sake. Everyone else nodded. True. Eldest Uncle was so angry, he felt that he had been left out of the family. I'll trust you, but we need to explain it to others clearly so we don't have misunderstandings. Dad, there is no understanding for us. I believe in my brother no matter what. Shut up. Eldest Uncle glared at Shao Sanlang. He had wanted to tell Shao Yunduan to take good care of the other sections of the family, but he lost interest, knowing that his request would not be responded to. Actually, he wanted to hear Shao Yunduan volunteering to make the offer, but that was not going to happen for sure. Suddenly, a loud banging sound on the door arose. It was Ms. Yan and Ms. Niu. Chunyu went to open the door. Ms. Yan and Ms. Niu rushed into the room. Ms. Yan had just greeted them when Ms. Niu cried loudly. Elder brother, elder sister-in-law, you have to help us. My grandson is gone, I am so concerned. Since they did not know about Shao Yunduan's visit to the province, they did not find his and Qiao Xian's presence strange. But Ms. Yan realized that she had not seen Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan on her few previous visits, and she felt that the first section of the family must be hiding something from the others. But she did not ask or say anything more. Ms. Niu's words shocked everyone in the room. What? Gone? What does that mean? Mom, don't cry. Tell eldest aunt and eldest uncle what happened, so that we can all help. Ms. Yan cried and held back Ms. Niu in tears. Ms. Fang felt good that Ms. Yan was present, so things could go easily. Ms. Yan told the story. After lunch, Shao Xianwen was playing in the village but did not come home until evening. They did not pay attention to his absence until a long while later. Children were always playing together and they might forget to come home. Usually, they only went to get children when dinner was ready. Same went for the second section of the family. However, they could not find the child. The children who hung out with Shao Xianwen said that he went home already. That made the second section of the family very anxious. They went about searching in the village but still failed. They were really anxious at this moment. Chapter 699, Boy Gone Missing. Ms. Zhang was crying dreadfully, and the second uncle and his son went to different families in the village to ask for help. Ms. Yan and Ms. Niu came to the first section of the family for help. It was indeed a huge deal when the child was missing, especially when the child was only 4 years old. The first section of the family also got nervous. Before eldest uncle said anything, 4 brothers from the first section of the family offered to help to seek the child. Miss Fang was about to say something to stop Xiao Yinduan. But she held herself back. Qiao Xian got up. She came to Xiao Yinduan's side. Darling, let me go with. She could use her superpower to connect to the plants in the mountains. With that, her vision would be stretched to at least 10 miles away. It would be much easier for her to find the child and safer too. Both of them had just returned from the trip and she was very tired. It was already dark and she did not want anyone to run into an accident. Nis. Fang frowned. No way. You don't know how to walk in the mountains when it is dark. You should stay at home. Many people are out looking for the child, you don't need to join us. Xiao Yinduan said to her gently, Mom is right. You can sleep at home. I will go out to look for him. Ms. Nyo added. But one more person, one more possibility. Ms. Qiao can join us if she wants to. They cared about the child, but Miss Fang sneered. You said so because she is not your daughter-in-law. What about Ms.Zhang herself? Is she out looking for her own son? Ms. Nyo was silent. She mumbled. One didn't ask Ms. Qiao to. She offered it herself, but can't you say something nice? Ms. Qiao was not born here. She is not used to walking in the mountains so late at night. No sense in your head at all. You are just selfish. Ms. Nyo was so annoyed. Eldest brother, look at what the eldest sister-in-law said. I am talking sense, which you can't. Eldest uncle was feeling very anxious. Stop arguing now. We should find the child first. Xiao Yinduan pinched Xiao Xian's hands gently. You can take a break. Don't worry. Her mother-in-law was defending her against Ms. Nyo, so Xiao Xian should not insist on going with Xiao Yinduan. Otherwise, her mother-in-law would have done all in vain whilst Ms. Nyo would feel superior. Xiao Xianwen was just 4 years old and should not have gone too far. He should be fine. So, she did not have to join the searching team. She nodded and said to Xiao Yinduan in a small voice, don't give yourself too much stress. They had had a long day, actually. Xiao Yinduan felt his heart warm up. He replied in a low voice. Don't worry. All men, including eldest uncle, were out searching for the baby. It was quiet in the room suddenly. Miss Fang asked Ms. Su and Xiao Xian to go to bed. Ms. Yen also asked Ms. Nyo to go back home. Instead of sleeping, Xiao Xian stood in her yard and placed her hands over an orchid tree. She used her superpower and allowed it to go through all the plants. She would not miss anything as long as she could look carefully within dozens of miles. It took time for her to conduct the move. It also cost her energy due to the large scope of area. Xiao Yinduan was not with her, so she did not need to be too cautious. She could recover after one night's sleep. As she glanced across the area, she, however, did not notice any sign of Xiao Xianwen. Chapter 700, Confused. That made Xiao Xian quite confused. Xiao Xianwen was just a little boy. How far could he go? He might have run away himself, but even if he had an adult with him, he would have stopped within dozens of miles. People might miss some places. But Xiao Xian would never miss any corner. She had even looked into the water, but she could see nothing. Her heart sank. Could Xiao Xianwen have been taken away by some human trafficker? That should not have happened. Human traffickers might be around, but they rarely came to the village to kidnap children. Strangers were always noticed when they were in a village. They would not be able to kidnap children away easily. Ms. Nyo must have asked about strangers from the other children too. If that was the case, they would have reported it to the governmental office rather than go out to seek the child first. So, where did the 4-year-old child go? Qiao Xian was feeling a little upset. It would be a little difficult to find the child in this way. She felt very tired after maximizing her superpower. She could not hold for too long. Not finding anything, she withdrew her superpower. Subconsciously, she could not help but feel curious about what Ms.Zhang and Ms. Nyo were doing. Ms. Nyo was still awake, sitting by Ms. Yan's side in the room. Ms. Niu was mumbling about her grandson's whereabouts, looking really worried. Ms. Yen was consoling her constantly. Ms. Zhang must have gotten too tired to continue. She was now back in her room. She had fallen asleep. She even snored. Qiao Xian could not help but look down at her. Her son was missing, and the whole family was so anxious. But she was the mother and was in the midst of a good sleep. Even if she was tired from crying, she could not have slept so deeply. She was totally heartless. Dawn came, and the searching teams came back. Shao Yunduan and everyone else from the village were very tired. But none of them had found Shao Xianwen. Seeing everyone back fruitless, Ms. Niu let out a scream. She passed out directly, which caused people to get anxious again. Those who spent the whole night searching were all really tired. They discussed amongst themselves that another batch of people should go and look for the child. Someone even suggested that they should report it to the government. What if someone did take the child? That could be possible. Even Shao Yunduan and Xiao Xian started to believe that maybe it was the human traffickers who did it. If they were delayed, they might not even be able to find the child. So, they could not stand one moment of delay. Everyone agreed that they needed to try different methods. Shao Yunduan tried to make himself stay awake, and offered to go to the governmental office. Qiao Xian offered to tag along. No one countered that suggestion. They were the county magistrate's family and they should be the one who made the report. The couple decided to take off directly. Shao Yunduan was already provincial champion, and they were sure that county magistrate Qiao would pay attention to it. They also planned to ask him to search in the neighboring area of the county, and some towns that surrounded the county too. But Ms.Zhang turned that down. She cried. No strangers were in the village, so that could not have been possible. We are commoners and we should not get close to governmental officers. They are not easy to deal with. Chapter 701, No Promise. Anything related to governmental office would be complicated. We can't afford to offend them. Let's just look more carefully. We can find Xianwen, definitely. What is the point of reporting to the governmental office? She was right. Commoners wanted to live a peaceful life, and they would not want to get involved with governmental office unless it was absolutely necessary. It was always easy to report to the governmental office, but no one knew what requirements they would raise in return. Things might get very complicated. Qiao Xian said, "Second sister-in-law, don't worry. My husband and I will deal with it. We will be fine." The others nodded and showed a look of jealousy. Qiao Xian was county magistrate's daughter, and when she made this promise, there should not be any complications. But Ms. Zhang still did not accept that. She sneered at Qiao Xian. "Stop pretending to be kind. Who knows what you are thinking inwardly? You never treat us well. I don't believe you. You better stay out of this." Miss Fang shouted angrily. "Ms. Zhang, listen to what you are saying." Even second uncle could not stand what Ms. Zhang said. He told Ms. Zhang to shut her mouth. Ms. Zhang kept saying that they should not report to the governmental office. She did not trust the governmental office. Nor did she trust Qiao Xian unless Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan swore that they could get her son back. Otherwise, they were not allowed to report the case to any office. Anyone who reported the case behind her back would be her enemy, especially if her son was affected because of that. Shao Yunduan and Xiao Xian were not very happy about this. Miss Fang sneered. "They don't want to accept your help, Duan and Miss Qiao. Don't bother anymore. She is the mother, she has the final say." Swear? Who would dare swear on this? They all exchanged a blank look between themselves. This idea was cancelled. Those who had gone searching for the boy went home to sleep. Another batch of people started to go and look for him. The Shao family was very anxious. But by lunchtime, someone delivered a blackmailing letter. It was discovered at the gate of the yard of the second section of the family. But no one noticed how the letter reached the second section of the family. Ms. Zhang gave the letter to Ms. Niu and Ms. Yen, who could not read. So, they gave it to the first section of the family and asked Shao Yunduan to read what it said. Shao Yunduan was asleep. Qiao Xian did not wake him up but opened it herself. She was County Magistrate's daughter, and she should be able to read. She opened the letter and was shocked. It was a blackmailing letter. The letter asked the second section of the family to deliver 100 liang to some place to ensure that Shao Xianwen would be safe and sound. Otherwise, Shao Xianwen would be lost forever. Ms. Niu almost passed out, crying out loudly. Which monster did this? That is my grandson. We are not rich people, how can they come to us for this? Ms.Zhang also put on a crying look. 100 liang, where can we get 100 liang? Mom, please, save Xianwen first. Qiao Xian and Ms. Fang were both shocked. Ms. Fang was very intimidating, but Shao Xianwen was her grandnephew, so her heart softened. She was about to say something, when Qiao Xian gave her a wink, which made her hold back. Chapter 702, Blame Qiao Xian said, second aunt-in-law, second sister-in-law, just get second uncle and everyone to return. We have found a clue, and we don't need to look in the mountains anymore. We should try to talk about how to save the child. Ms. Niu had been so anxious that she was distracted. She told Ms. Yan to get everyone back home, especially second uncle and Shao Erlang. Nis. Zhang sneered and said to Qiao Xian, what is the point of talking about anything? We need money. We don't have 100 liang, so you should help us with it. Ms. Niu understood what was going on as well. She said to Ms. Fang, eldest sister-in-law, please help us this time, one can't let my grandchild get killed. Ms. Fang felt so disgusted. She was about to offer the money but they beat her to it and were planning to let her pay the bill. They would always think about turning to her for help. What do you mean, second sister-in-law? If I don't offer 100 liang, would it be me who gets Xianwen killed? You don't have 100 liang, but can't you offer even 1 liang? Nis. Niu was about to argue back when Qiao Xian said, second aunt-in-law, let's wait until second uncle is back. Second aunt-in-law, you can go home and wait. We will be there soon. Ms. Zhang sneered at Qiao Xian, looking really annoyed. She left with Ms. Niu without saying anything. Qiao Xian raised her eyebrows. She had a feeling that Ms. Zhang did not seem to care about her missing child. Instead, she had time to hate her at this point. Ms. Fang patted her chest. Damn, how can they say such horrible words to us? Qiao Xian smiled. Mom, just ignore them. We already know what they are like, right? Nis. Fang sighed and lost some anger. No. She revived herself. Will go and speak with my husband in case he really agrees to offer 100 liang. Then, she left for his room. Eldest uncle had been up for one whole night. He was asleep at the moment. Qiao Xian smiled. She was just about to ask her mother-in-law to remind her father-in-law, but her mother-in-law already had the idea. They could offer the money, but not the entire money. This needed to be handled carefully in case they did not thank them but blamed them for not being sincere. Nis. Yan had said that 2 quarters before the letter arrived, she was sweeping the floor in the yard. Therefore, the letter had just been put down. That meant that the delivery man was not yet far away. Qiao Xian used her superpower to look around. She maximized her superpower and managed to cover almost 15 miles. She was confused again. She did not see any strange man on the path, trees, or valleys. Could that person have come in a wagon? That would have drawn a lot of attention. Suddenly, she realized something. Could the delivery man be from the same village? Only that would make sense. The person dropped the letter and sneaked home. So, she could not find that person at this moment. Chapter 703, No evidence. She could not replay the past with her superpower. She could only try to catch the suspect red-handed. Qiao Xian suddenly had an idea flashing across her mind. Did Ms. Zhang arrange everything herself? She was totally startled. That could not be possible. It would not be the case, right? But when this notion hit her mind, Xiao Xian started to get skeptical. Ms. Zhang could take Xiao Xianwen away without letting anyone notice that. She also seemed to have such a good sleep the night before. She even insisted that the first section of the family should never report the case to the governmental office. Most importantly, she was the one who found the letter, whilst no one had any idea how the letter arrived at the door. Ms. Zhang could just bring out the letter herself, secretly. She had been crying loudly, but she did not seem to be very worried about her son. On the other hand, second uncle and Shao Erlang were very anxious and looked heavily struck. It was the same for Ms. Niu. Ms. Zhang even had the time to blame her and kept stressing about the 100 liang. In modern society, science and technology were vastly developed, and there were many strange cases and hot topics going on in the society. In many cases, results turned out to be really startling. There were enough parents who harmed their children. With those as the base, Xiao Xian subconsciously became skeptical towards Ms. Zhang. Maybe other people would not think like this. But Xiao Xian had witnessed such cases. So, she suddenly found that it was very likely, after all. But this was just her suspicion. There was no evidence for that. So, she was not going to say it out loud. Soon, Ms. Fang and eldest uncle came out in the hall. They were wearing bad looks on their faces. Xiao Xian went up and greeted them, suggesting that she would follow them to the second section of the family. She was going to go with the flow to look for some anomalies. It seemed that her father-in-law suggested offering 100 liang to get back Xiao Xianwen, whilst her mother-in-law must have argued with him over that. When they reached the second section of the family, second uncle and Shao Erlang were back. Some villagers were at their place too. They kept raising some ideas. Ms. Niu was crying about losing the grandchild and not being able to offer so much money. Xiao Xian knew clearly that they definitely could not gather 100 liang, unless Ms. Yan offered her private savings. The Yan family's business was going upwards. Xiao Xian and Shao Yunduan got 80 liang when they only had 20% of the profits. In this case, Ms. Yan must have got 40 liang for her portion. Her dowry as well as Ms. Niu's savings would add up to 100 liang. Seeing eldest uncle and Ms. Fang, second uncle's face brightened. Eldest brother, second brother, you can gather some money and we can loan you a dozen liang. But you have to tell us how you will pay it back. Before eldest uncle finished his words, Ms. Fang cut in. Second uncle got very furious. Eldest sister-in-law, are you crazy? How can you say such words right now? Ms. Fang sneered. Why not? You can't be thinking about getting money from us for free, or are you? That is not good, right? Xiao Xian smiled. Mom is absolutely right. If someone hides the child and pretends to put on a kidnapping show to blackmail us, that would make them rich conveniently, right? Chapter 704, A Weird Mother, What are you talking about? Ms. Qiao, shut up now. Second uncle and eldest uncle shouted at Xiao Xian at the same time. Xiao Xian was simply adding fuel to the fire at this time. Second uncle was furious. Ms. Qiao, what do you mean? How can you say things like that? Can anyone do anything like this? That is totally unhuman. Xiao Xian sneaked a look at Ms. Zhang's face when she said those words. Ms. Zhang was startled by these words and her face turned red. She was panicking. Soon, she tried to calm down, but Xiao Xian was more or less sure that Ms. Zhang had caused all of this herself. What a mother. But she was just a rural woman and she might have done this for the first time. So, she was not very good at putting on a calm face, thus exposing herself when asked by Xiao Xian. Second uncle, don't be mad. I should not have said those words. Xiao Xian replied calmly. But I was with my father and saw such cases in other counties, thus mentioning this out loud. A grandma hid the grandson and pretended that he was kidnapped. She forced her son and daughter-in-law to pay her so that she could use the money to help the useless younger son. Sorry, second uncle sneered. He was very angry but he said nothing more. Qiao Xian was county magistrate's daughter, and she could not be lying when she said that there were cases like these. No one would be able to prove otherwise. She might be a little over the top saying it, but that was reasonable as well. Most importantly, the second section of the family did not have 100 liang, and they needed to get the money from the first section of the family. Second uncle did not care if he was getting the money as a loan. He barely had the energy to think about when or how to return the money. If he offended Qiao Xian, maybe they would not be able to get anything from them. Qiao Xian said sincerely, "I think so too. Only ruthless and heartless people would use this method to get money. Such people would always get retribution, and end up badly. Isn't that right, second sister-in-law?" Nis. Zhang was shocked. Her eyes became erratic. She got furious and embarrassed as she screamed. "Why did you ask me this? How would I know about it?" Qiao Xian stared at her. "Don't you think such people should be punished?" Ms.Zhang turned pale. Her lips were trembling. She dodged Qiao Xian's question and cried painfully. "Parents, please, raise some money to save Xianwen first. Where is he now? He is so young and he may be suffering badly." Ms.Zhang covered her face and burst into tears. Qiao Xian could tell that she was panicking already. Qiao Xian left the money discussion to Ms. Fang, who would never let the second section of the family take advantage of them. Also, if Ms. Zhang had planned this, Shao Xianwen should be safe. Ms. Zhang just needed money. She would not kill her son. Qiao Xian gave Ms. Yen a look, and two of them left the room. In a quiet corner, Qiao Xian asked. "Fourth cousin-in-law, did second cousin-in-law ask second aunt-in-law for money these days?" Ms. Yen was startled. She wondered why Qiao Xian would say so. But Nis. Yen replied clearly. "She did ask a few days ago. Second sister-in-law asked her for 10 liang, saying that her mother's family needed it desperately. She claimed that it was a loan and second brother's salary would cover the payback." Chapter 705, My Words a Mess. Yen sounded sarcastic. Her family's business was doing well, and they had expanded the scope. They were very busy these days, and the profits were plentiful. The whole family was very motivated. Therefore, Shao Erlang was hired to work there as well. Shao Xilang had been promoted to become a manager. Shao Xilang was paid 3 liang a month, and he only gave 2 out of those towards the shared savings, and kept 1 for their own use. Shao Erlang was not as well treated as the son-in-law of the Yen family, and was working as a minor employee. He was paid according to how much he worked. His salary was no more than 2 to 3 qian a month. Ms. Zhang had only paid half a month's shared savings and was already asking her mother-in-law for 10 liang for her mother's family. She even said that Shao Erlang could pay that back with his salary as if his salary was huge. More importantly, Ms. Zhang came to her twice and asked her to tell her mother's family to promote Shao Erlang as a manager. In this way, he could be paid more and work less. She turned her down and Ms. Zhang was very irritated by her. Qiao Xian asked again. Did the second aunt-in-law give the money to her? Ms. Yen looked amused. Of course not. I even heard the second sister-in-law blaming the second brother in secret. Qiao Xian sneered. Good. Her mother's family needs money and her mother-in-law refuses to help. She must be feeling really annoyed. When she had the grudge and needed money, it would not be strange if she had some weird ideas in her head. Ms. Yen. That was true. But she felt that her fifth sister-in-law was implying something else. Qiao Xian smiled. Fourth cousin-in-law, I have some guesses, but I can't say those out now, because 1 a.m. not sure if I am right. Fourth cousin-in-law, please don't share my words with anyone else. Ms. Yen felt relieved. She nodded with a smile. Don't worry, fifth sister-in-law, I will keep my mouth tightly sealed. Qiao Xian could not tell Ms. Fang about this and instead, mentioned her guess to Shao Yunduan. Shao Yunduan seemed really calm hearing her words. He believed her instantly. Qiao Xian was surprised. She smiled. Darling, you believe me? Shao Yunduan smiled. Your words have a ground, and I think that your guess is quite possible. You aren't the kind of person who spreads rumors. Qiao Xian felt sweetness in her heart. Good. One don't need to explain a thing. Darling, what do you think we should do about it? Shao Yunduan said, Elle will get second cousin and Shao Xiaoqi to keep an eye out on Ms. Zhang's family. Ms. Zhang can't be the only one planning this. Ms. Zhang would not be able to carry it out alone. Moreover, she would not combine forces with someone outside the family. She needed to keep her reputation. If someone outside the family knew about her plan, she would have no way to keep her head up in her life, ever again. So, she had most probably done this with the Zhang family. If they monitored the Zhang family, they may find something interesting. Qiao Xian smiled. Thanks for your efforts, darling. Soon, 100 liang was gathered. Ms. Niu had to offer 20 liang and Ms. Fang lent them the remaining 80. Shao Erlang and Shao Xilang would need to pay back Ms. Fang with their money every month in the years to come. Ms. Niu and second uncle cared about their grandson, so they had to agree to the deal. When the money was gathered, Ms. Zhang went to drop the money as the blackmailer had instructed. The blackmailer told her to come alone and Ms. Zhang insisted on following the instructions. So, she set off by herself. Chapter 706, Money and the Manimes. Zhang and her brother had found a very good spot to make the deal. It was a long cave with 2 exits. Zhang Debao was waiting with Shao Xianwen whose hands and legs had tied, and he was gagged. The plan was that Ms. Zhang sneaked in from one end of the cave, gave Zhang Debao the money, so Zhang Debao could sneak out from the other end. Even if someone stalked Ms. Zhang, all she needed to do was to stall the stalker, so Zhang Debao could sneak away without being noticed. By that time, the boy would be back and the whole thing would end. In this way, Zhang Debao would have the money. 100 liang was enough for the Zhang family to buy 10 mu of good fields and the remaining amount should last for a long time for them to live a leisure as for the future. Ms. Zhang would definitely try to find other methods to get the money. Shao Erlang had a stable income and she would always have the means to grab some money. No one from her mother-in-law's family respected her, so she should think about her mother's family instead. She could rely on her mother's family and was going to depend on her beloved brother. But what Ms. Zhang had not predicted was that when her father was delivering food to Zhang Debao, Shao Erlang, Shao Yunduan and Shao Xiaoqi followed up and they were led all the way to the cave. Zhang Debao did not manage to escape. He, along with the money, was caught by Shao Yunduan and the others. Ms. Zhang brought her son home. Ms. Niu cried badly seeing her grandson suffering from pain. Shao Xianwen, his mother and grandma all cried. It was a pitiful scene. Everyone let out a sigh of relief and consoled each other. No matter what had happened, the boy was back, safe and sound. That was all what mattered. Soon, Zhang Debao was escorted to Shaoding village with bruises all over his face, together with the huge bag filled with money. Zhang Debao had been to Shaoding village many times, but most people from the village still did not recognize him. At the beginning, when they saw this man escorted by Shao Erlang, Shao Yunduan and Shao Xiaoqi, they were confused. They asked among themselves. Who is this man? Only Ms. Zhang recognized Zhang Debao the moment she saw him. Her heart skipped a beat immediately. She screamed as she rushed out. What are you doing? What have you done to my brother? Zhang Debao was such a coward. He was already very frightened when he was caught red-handed and beaten heavily by the angry Shao Erlang and escorted back to the village. He cried loudly at Ms. Zhang. Please, help me, second sister, please. Ms. Zhang did not regret a thing. She shouted at her husband and tried to defend her brother. But Shao Erlang could not stand it anymore. He kicked Ms. Zhang and shouted at her angrily. You bitch, how ruthless you are. Ms. Zhang burst into tears. Soon, the truth was revealed. Zhang Debao vomited out everything. Ms. Zhang collapsed onto the ground and shook her head constantly. No, it was not like that. But no one believed her anymore. Her denial was useless. Zhang Debao was caught red-handed by Shao Erlang with the money, and Ms.Zhang had no way to defend herself. Ms. Niu got so furious that she grabbed Ms.Zhang's hair and started to beat her. "You bitch, you evil bitch. You are so ruthless. How could you do this to your own son? He is only 4 years old. You frightened him and may have even killed him." Chapter 707, Ms. Niu's Fury. "Your family agreed to do something like this? Are you so poor to do such an immoral thing? Who do you think my grandson is? I am going to kill you now." The angrier Ms. Niu was, the more fiercely she kicked Ms.Zhang. She had turned mental. Everyone was shocked by what Ms.Zhang did. No one showed any sympathy towards her. They were all looking down at her. Ms.Zhang's voice turned loud as she was kicked by Ms. Niu. Startled, people went up to pull Ms. Niu away. "Okay, stop it. Stop it now. You are killing her. Just vent your anger and stop it." Nis. Niu panted and kicked Ms. Zhang's body hard. She sneered. "She deserves to be killed." Ms. Zhang was bruised all over and she had blood around her lips. Half of her clothes had been ripped off. Her hair was unkempt and much of the hair had been torn away by Ms. Niu. She was crying in despair and snapped angrily. "What else could I do? What else could I do? You all hate me. You think I am poor and you think my family is poor. I have just one brother, the only heir of the Zhang family. I have to help him, so what? Erlang earns money and gets 1 liang a month. In this way, he can get 12 liang a year. I can surely share some of it with my brother, right? You never give me any money, not even 1 penny. What else was I to, you useless bastard, how dare you?" Ms. Niu got even more annoyed. She kicked her a few more times, cursing. "For your useless brother, you set up your own son? What reason did you have to do so?" She then pointed at Zhang Debao, who was cringing in a corner. "Is he a cripple? Does he not have any limbs? He still depends on his married sisters? Shame on this trash. For this trash, you didn't even care about your own son?" Qiao Xian glanced at Nis. Niu subconsciously. This second aunt-in-law of hers did know some principles. But they were more or less the same, essentially speaking. Ms. Zhang cried even more loudly. "What am I to do? My brother is weak and he can't do hard work. If something happens to him, there will not be any bloodline passed on from our family. How can you be so ruthless?" "You," Ms. Niu got so annoyed. The villagers were all shocked, whispering among themselves. There would never be any girls accepted from the Zhang family anymore. Their names were ruined. No in-laws would want to accept such a girl as their daughter-in-law. After all, who would be willing to marry someone who only defended her own family? Help could be given, but there needed to be a limit. Ms. Zhang was not helping. She was supporting him. Ms. Niu snapped. "Divorce her now. Now. Write the letter and make her leave. She wants her family, doesn't she? She can get out of here and live with her own family. We don't need anyone like her at our home." They were all taken aback, but not surprised. Ms. Zhang screamed. "No, no way. My children cannot be motherless. Erlang, you can't divorce me." Shao Erlang was very annoyed, but a divorce might not be necessary. Seeing Ms. Zhang's condition, he felt a little concerned. He turned to Ms. Niu. "Mom, is that a little over the top?" Chapter 708, Shao Erlang's divorce. "What are you hesitating for?" Ms. Niu sneered. "This evil woman doesn't even care about her son. She is all for her brother. Your children will be killed if you keep her. Or are you going to make your children think that the Zhang family are their only family? My grandson doesn't need a mother like this. She can just die. Even a tiger doesn't kill its own babies. She is not even as good as an animal. Divorce her now. Divorce her." Second uncle was annoyed too. He snorted. Your mother is right. This evil woman can't be kept any longer. Who knows what other things she would do in the future? She doesn't think what she has done is wrong. Instead, she is blaming us for not giving her any money. You are working for the Yen family and you earn more than 1 liang a month. The business is growing and your salary will grow too. You can remarry any good woman you want. Erlang turned hesitant as he looked at Ms.Zhang. He had lost all affection for this woman after knowing what she did. Ms.Zhang panicked. No, parents, Erlang, please, don't divorce me. I will never do anything like this again. Please, give me one more chance. I am the children's mother, and a stepmother will never treat them as one do. What would the children do in the future? Ms. Nyo countered her. You are worse than a stepmother. Shame on you. They don't need a mother like you. This divorce has to happen. Yinduan, write the divorce paper for him. Now. I don't want to see her any more. You don't need to worry about the children. I am still alive. No one will bully my grandson as long as I am alive. Erlang did not hesitate. He agreed and decided to prepare the divorce paper. Ms. Zhang almost passed out. She was about to get up to grab Erlang but got kicked away by Ms. Nyo. She tried to find her children to defend her, but Ms. Nyo had already sent the children into the room and let Ling look after them. Ms. Zhang was begging hysterically but Ms. Nyo sneered and lectured her. Nis. Yen could not stand it any longer. She did not feel sorry for Ms. Zhang, but for Shao Xianwen and his sister. Also, for herself. If there was no divorce, she would have the excuse to live separately from her in-laws. She was not going to live under the same roof with this evil woman. Soon the divorce paper was prepared. Ms. Nyo and Erlang, together with Shao Dalong and Shao Sanlang, as well as some relatives from the same family, escorted Ms. Zhang and Zhang Debao back to the Zhang village. Ms. Nyo was not going to let this thing pass so easily, especially when Ms. Zhang made the plan with her natal family. She was still annoyed after divorcing Ms. Zhang. She needed to tell everyone about it. She was going to let the whole village know what the Zhang family was like, in case they became the one who got blamed for separating a mother from her children. It was a big show at the Zhang family. Zhang family's name became totally notorious. The Zhang family's seniors were also weird. They were caught red-handed by Erlang, but still claimed that the Shao family were accusing them of something they never did. Seeing Zhang Debao beaten heavily, Mrs. Zhang got so concerned that she insisted that the Shao family should pay the medical bills for him. Chapter 709, Weird Family MS. Nyo was so angry that she almost hit her. In the end, it was the land officer and elderly men from the Zhang village who came and suppressed the family, and sorted things out. As for Mrs. Zhang's claim that the Shao family accused her son of something he did not do and how they looked down at them because Erlang had money so he divorced her daughter, no one wanted to hear about it. Ms. Zhang gave birth to 2 children for Erlang, and he was not someone who just made a huge fortune. The Shao family would not set her up if she had behaved well. The cousins from the Shao family caught Zhang Debao red-handed with the money, and the Shao family had accumulated the money from different places, which was witnessed by many people in the village. The money was for Ms. Zhang to deliver to the blackmailer. But Zhang Debao got all the money, so the truth was clear. Land officers and elderly men from the Zhang village felt ashamed, especially after Mrs. Zhang's words. Seeing that Zhang Debao could not escape the blame, Mrs. Zhang started to complain that the Shao family were treating her daughter badly and they could do whatever they wanted with that woman. Ms. Zhang would not be allowed to return home, and the Shao family could take her back and deal with her in whichever way they wanted. Ms. Zhang was in tears. She kept begging Erlang and Ms. Nyo for forgiveness. Erlang's heart turned soft, but Ms. Nyo did not approve of that. This damned old woman had just cursed her and her son, and even wanted her to compensate them. She was not going to allow any of this to happen. Mrs. Zhang screamed loudly. Don't care. I already married off my daughter. She is a part of your family now, not mine. She is not going to come back to our home, no matter what. If anything happens to her, that would be your fault. Ms. Zhang was furious by her shamelessness. She sneered. So, she is not part of your family? Then, why do you still need the money from her? Why not throw the money away? That made many people laugh. Everyone knew clearly what the Zhang family was like, after all. Ms. Zhang felt proud seeing people's reaction. We have driven her out of our family and we don't care if you take her back or not. You can do whatever you want with her. The Shao family left, and Ms. Zhang got lectured by her mother. Some villagers could not stand it anymore. The land officer lectured the family and told them to take Ms. Zhang back home. Finally, the crowd dispersed. As for what Ms. Zhang's life was like at the Zhang family had nothing to do with the second section of the Shao family. In Shaoding village. After Shao Dalong went to the Zhang village with the second section of the family, Ms. Su went into labor. Qiao Xian and Yang Xiaoni both got anxious. Ms. Fang was experienced, and Ms. Su was having her third child, so she did not have many special feelings. After the midwife came, Ms. Su soon gave birth to a son. Ms. Su had been well taken care of during pregnancy, and she was well fed too. So, the child was full term when he was born. He was chubby and lovely. Both Ms. Fang and Ms. Su were glad. The maids helped to carry the hot water, serve the chicken soup and put everything in order. Yang Xiaoni and Qiao Xian did not really help much anyway. They were both quite distracted. Was it so easy to give birth to a baby? Chapter 710, Recommended Man. When Ms. Su was in labor, they were both very nervous, far more nervous than Ms. Su herself. Qiao Xian could not help but think of the scenes in the TV series that showed what childbearing was like. She was frightened. She had thought that it was going to take a long time. But the process ended soon. Yang Xiaoni patted her chest, saying to Qiao Xian emotionally, "Is it so easy to give birth to a child? I am not worried anymore." Qiao Xian laughed. She really wanted to tell her third sister-in-law that it was not very easy to give birth to a child. But she gave up the thought. What was the point of frightening her? Shao Dalong was told that he had become a father again when he arrived home. So, he smiled happily. It was a warm scene in the first section of the family. Miss Fang asked the maids to cook eggs, dyed them red and shared them with the neighbors. She even told Shao Dalong to inform Ms. Su's family. Soon, the other sections of the family came to pass on the congratulations. The neighbors also came to greet them happily. They all said that the child was lucky. He did not need to suffer a thing after he came to the world. It was said that Ms. Su was lucky to have 2 sons. 2 sons and 1 daughter, and the only daughter-in-law of the first section of the family who had children. As long as she did not go about causing trouble like Ms.Zhang, good days awaited her. All the daughters-in-law of other families were feeling quite jealous of Ms. Su. They had never expected that the first section of the family would see the light of the day. They used to mock and tease them in the village, but things were different now. Ms. Su felt very satisfied. All she needed to do was to feed herself and the child well. She did not need to worry about anything else. She even had maids to serve her water. Qiao Xian cooked dinner. She stewed chicken with wolfberries and ginseng for Ms. Shui. Although Ms. Zhang's delivery worked out well, still, she bled a lot. Her face was pale at the moment, and she needed to eat well to replenish her energy. Celebrations were held in the family, both for Ms. Su and for Shao Yunduan, who was provincial champion. Qiao Xian spent a lot of effort on the dinner. She made dozens of dishes, including crispy chicken, stewed lion head, braised soft-shelled turtle with ham, stuffed shiitake mushrooms, dry pot fish, blanched dried shredded tofu, etc. They were all salivating over Qiao Xian's dishes, and looked forward to the dinner, especially Shao Sanlang and Yang Xiaoni, who just could not stand the fragrance. News spread around very fast. When the first section of the family had just finished the dinner, many people from the other sections of the family arrived. Nis. Yen said with a smile, "El heard that the 5th cousin made it to recommended man, is that true?" "Congratulations." Ms. Yan asked the question, but the news was already out. How could it be false? Everyone from the first section of the family was shocked. Oh yeah, they almost forgot. Under normal circumstances, if Shao Yunduan and Xiao Xian returned the night before and brought them this good news, Ms. Fang would have definitely shown it off across the whole village, including to the second and the third section of the family. Her son brought honor to the family. She was definitely going to be very happy about it, and would definitely show off. Chapter 7:11. No argument, but Shao Xianwen went missing and Ms.Zhang, the culprit, was caught and driven out of the family. Then, Ms. Su gave birth to the baby. Everything happened all together and distracted them. So, everyone from the first section of the family forgot about this great news. They had not spread it out to anyone. This news came from the young village. Ms. Fang smiled. Yeah, it is true. Yunduan is ranked first in the exam. He is the provincial champion. I should have told you earlier, but one guess we all forgot about this since too many things were distracting us. Ms. Yen smiled brightly. That is fantastic. Congratulations, eldest aunt. Fifth cousin has really boosted our family's name. Ms. Fang loved to hear that. She laughed. Very true. Ms. Niu and second uncle felt quite distressed. But since the first section of the family helped a lot with what happened to Ms.Zhang, they could not change their attitude too fast. So, they had to force a smile and offer congratulations. Ms. Ma and third uncle were different. Ms. Ma was sour. She threw a look at Ms. Yen and snorted. Ms. Yen, what are you so happy for? It is not your husband who made it, right? You don't even have anyone in your family who reads. Ms. Yen was not angry and smiled instead. Fifth cousin's success as the recommended man brings honor to our family, so, of course I am very happy about it. Being able to read is a talent. We don't have it, but maybe our children will. Nothing else matters, as long as we can live a happy life. Ms. Niu did not like what Ms. Ma said, so she echoed her daughter-in-law's words. True. Third uncle said with jealousy evident in his voice, now you have cleared the examination, maybe you can teach your brother. If he can become a cultivated talent, that would bring double honor to our family. Yeah. Ms. Ma snapped. In fact, you should have taught him earlier. Eldest uncle felt very guilty. He added. Third brother and third sister-in-law, it is not too late now. As long as Lulang likes it, Yunduan would be willing to teach him. If we have two recommended men in our family, it would be glorious. The two brothers can help each other too. Yunduan, tell your third uncle and third aunt-in-law about it. Shao Yunduan shook his head at his mother, who was about to say something. Sure, as long as sixth cousin is willing to take help from me, one would be willing to do that. That was true. In fact, he had tried to help Shao Lulang back in college, but Shao Lulang believed that he was better than Shao Yunduan and never wanted to listen to his instructions. He even tried to argue unreasonably with him. The argument was so boring that Shao Yunduan decided to leave Shao Lulang alone. He would only help him if he came over willingly. Third uncle and Ms. Ma were not very happy hearing that. Ms. Ma snapped. What is the point of saying this now? It is too late. Shao Yunduan. He did not argue back. Nor did he get angry. Ms. Yen was watching the scene. She felt disdainful inside her heart. It was the parents' fault anyway. Third uncle snapped. You can't just make empty speech. You have to put it into action. Promise that you can help Lulang become a cultivated talent next year. Ms. Fang sneered. Are you joking, third brother? Promise? There can never be any promise like this. Don't be ridiculous. Chapter 7:12. Better be kind. Xiao Xian added, Third uncle, do you think the imperial examination is a joke? Even excellent masters can't make any promises, and you are asking my husband to make a promise? Anything can happen in the examination, so why do you think my husband can guarantee anything for you? Ms. Fang said, exactly, stop talking nonsense if you know nothing. Miss Fang had worried that if her son and Lulang, who studied together, both failed to make it to cultivated talent, the couple from the third section of the family might take out their frustration on them. However, she had not planned to argue back. But the couple's unreasonable behavior was becoming intolerable. Miss Fang could not contain her anger any longer and sneered, "I'll remember someone always boasting about how Lulang was smarter and better learned than my son, and always getting praised by the teacher. That same person claimed my son's studies were a waste of money. Now, you blame my son for not teaching your son. Lulang never listened to my son before. You wouldn't even let my son teach yours. You said my son was arrogant and a bad influence on Lulang. You're all being ridiculous. Honestly, if you don't want to congratulate us, then don't. But mocking us serves no purpose." Qiao Xian managed to smile reassuringly at her mother-in-law. "Don't feel mocked, Mom. My husband is already the provincial champion, and he's definitely going to participate in the spring examination. He'll become an advanced scholar soon enough." Miss Fang beamed at her daughter-in-law's words. "That's great news. Nis." Ma, however, was seething with jealousy. "Becoming an advanced scholar isn't easy, you know. Don't count your chickens before they hatch." Qiao Xian shot back, "We're not counting chickens, third aunt-in-law. We're speaking auspicious words. Or do you not want us to succeed?" Miss Fang couldn't resist a dig at her husband's family. "Look, your brother won't even let his own son succeed. It's a shame, really." Eldest uncle, uncomfortable with the tension in the room, struggled to find the right words to say. Miss Fang's lips curved into a sneer as third uncle expressed his dissatisfaction. "Elder sister-in-law, don't try to turn us against each other. I just want someone from the Shao family who can be successful. Our son studied with your son at the same school, he is not bad either." Why didn't he make it?" "So I would like to ask you what is wrong with our son." Miss Fang responded coolly, "Oh, then you can ask him if you want to, but don't mock him. My son is a recommended man and soon he will become an advanced scholar. By that time, he would be an officer, and you had better treat him nicely." Third uncle and Ms. Ma were left speechless. And their anger was mixed with fear. They knew that humiliating an officer was not a joke, and Miss Fang was not one to take things lying down. Even second uncle and Ms. Nyo's expressions changed, sensing the tension in the air. Miss Fang dismissed them with a wave of her hand. "It is getting late, you can go home if you don't have anything else to do here." As the two sections of the family left, they exchanged a look between themselves and parted their ways. Third uncle and his wife seethed with anger, while second uncle and Ms. Nyo felt distressed. It was a bad day for them, while the first section of the family had two pieces of good news at the door, making the comparison all the more irritating. Chapter 713, Revenge on the Zhao family. When good fortune smiled upon the first section of the family, and their coffers were flush with cash, they knew they had to throw a grand banquet to celebrate. The next day, Miss Fang discussed the matter with Shao Yunduan and Qiao Xian, who gave her free rein to plan the festivities as she saw fit. Miss Fang was thrilled with the opportunity to take charge and make the event as lively as possible. Shao Yunduan, however, had other concerns on his mind, about the Zhao family. That wretched Zhao Guanghua had already tried to harm his third sister-in-law. Shao Yunduan wasn't going to let him get away with it so easily. Yang Liang and Ms. Tian had already been punished for their involvement in the scheme, but Zhao Guanghua should face consequences as well. As they discussed the matter, young Xiaoni couldn't help but feel a sense of sadness. Shao Sanlang tried to console her and reminded Shao Yunduan in an angry tone, "If it weren't for you, fifth sister-in-law and fifth brother, things could have been far worse. Xiaoni may have escaped the trap, but her reputation could have been forever damaged. We should never forgive that despicable man. Fifth brother, I know I'm not capable and not clever enough to handle this. So please, help me beat that bastard when he's caught." Shao Sanlang pleaded with Shao Yunduan. "Don't worry, third brother. We are family, and I will handle this. I won't let the Zhao family get away so easily," Shao Yunduan assured him. Zhao Guanghua and his father were despicable people. Although Yuezheng Shao had helped temporarily resolve the issue, Shao Yunduan was determined to put an end to it once and for all. People with narrow-mindedness and a deceitful nature were always causing trouble. Shao Yunduan planned to completely remove the Zhao family from their lives for what Zhao Guanghua did to them. After breakfast, he and Qiao Xian went directly to the county magistrate's home. Instead of confronting the Zhao family directly, they were going to use the Qiao family to deal with them. Since County Magistrate Qiao owed Qiao Xian a lot, the couple had no qualms about utilizing him to solve the problem. County Magistrate Qiao had already heard the news from the province that there were only 2 recommended men from their county, and one of them was Shao Yunduan, who was the provincial champion. This news made County Magistrate Qiao very pleased, as Shao Yunduan was not only his son-in-law, but also an accomplished scholar. That made County Magistrate Qiao very glad. Finally, he had one son-in-law who was a provincial champion. Provincial champion's achievement had already guaranteed him a place in the next level of the spring examination, provided that he passed the test based on his own merit without any interference. Excited by the news, County Magistrate Qiao laughed heartily and expressed his emotions to his wife. One did not expect that Yunduan would be so excellent. I have misjudged him before. Madame Qiao forced a flattering smile, but her true feelings were betrayed by her gritted teeth. When County Magistrate Qiao finished his emotional speech, Madame Qiao smiled and said, "Why didn't Yunduan tell you about his talent? You could have helped him if he had revealed this to you. I wonder why he keeps his abilities a secret from you, old master. He doesn't even tell you about participating in the examination," and Xian is the same. County Magistrate Qiao's smile faded, and he appeared a little displeased. However, he knew it was not the time to humiliate Shao Yunduan. Chapter 7:14. What if Shao Yunduan had the dumb luck and made it to Advanced Scholar and ranked high again? What if he became recognized by some important figure in the capital? What if, well, you never knew, what if, he couldn't help feeling uncertain about his past treatment of Shao Yunduan. He had never been kind to him. Now he could understand why Shao Yunduan might have kept his talents hidden from him. It seemed perfectly reasonable that he would conceal such a secret. Thinking about these, County Magistrate Qiao suddenly felt less saddened. He spoke up, "Let's not dwell on the past. Instead, we should focus on the future and treat our family well. When they come to visit, we should welcome them with open arms. As for Xian, she calls you mother and you should guide her properly, so that she knows I am her father and can work for me. This would benefit her and her family in the long run." Madame Qiao felt a wave of disgust wash over her. That bitch was calling her mother, she did not deserve a thing of it. She had previously tried to sabotage her own marriage with a promising fiancé, but now Shao Yunduan had become the provincial champion. Just what if he went on to become the national champion as well? No, that seemed far-fetched. How could she even consider such a preposterous idea? Shao Yunduan had no wealth to go further than this. The most he could do was to reach the level of Advanced Scholar. But even if he was an Advanced Scholar, that was still a blow on them. And her husband was paying attention to them now, which was totally unacceptable. Madame Qiao smiled kindly and replied, "Of course, old master. I will make sure to treat them well and give them good instructions. I trust your judgment." Officer Qiao felt very gratified and satisfied. "Oh, I've noticed that Xian's wardrobe is a bit lacking. We should provide her with some nice garments and accessories to show her that we appreciate her new position," said Officer Qiao. Madame Qiao's anger boiled inside her, but she kept a calm exterior. She was seething with rage inside. Good ornaments and garments for that woman? She didn't deserve any of them. And didn't her husband remember that she had already sold off her good garments and ornaments for money? The few ones I have right now are all my precious ones. Why should I give them away to Qiao Xian for free? Madame Qiao thought to herself. Old master, I think it might be better to wait until after the spring examination before we do that. What do you think? She suggested, trying to delay the decision. Madame Qiao was not convinced. She tried to overturn the suggestion. Officer Qiao replied. No, that would be too late. It is the right time now. Madame Qiao cursed to herself inwardly. But she had to force a kind smile. Yeah, right. I will arrange everything. Okay, Officer Qiao smiled. Will have our strategists spread the news and ask them to join us the day after tomorrow. You should get ready for the reception. Let the kitchen prepare plenty of dishes and arrange a courtyard for them to rest comfortably. Madame Qiao almost felt like throwing up blood. She clenched her hands around her handkerchief and forced a smile through gritted teeth. Okay, old master, she said through the forced smile. Officer Qiao got really satisfied, finally. Once he was gone, she couldn't contain her rage any longer and took it out on the nearby teacups, shattering them into pieces, panting heavily in anger. Chapter 7:15, Utter Anger, Bitch. Auntie Ling expressed sympathy towards her mistress. Her mistress had apparently put in a lot of effort for nothing. It's all right, Madame Qiao. There's still a lot more to come, Auntie Ling consoled her, asking the other maids to clean up the scattered items on the ground. He's just a recommended man, not yet holding an official position. We don't know what he'll be like in the future. The old master is just pleased with him at the moment, and you can just comply with his orders for now. There's no need to let it upset you. Madame Qiao composed herself and let out a sarcastic laugh. You're absolutely right. I was foolish to be upset. The old master is the real fool here. He treats a simpleton as a prized possession. How can someone so dull succeed in the future? He'll be overwhelmed by the distractions of the capital and fail his exams. Madame Qiao, you are right, agreed Auntie Ling. The exchange between the mistress and the maid helped calm Madame Qiao's nerves. She then instructed Auntie Ling to tidy up a courtyard, arrange for some shopping, and send for Qiao Wei. Madame Qiao was particularly concerned about Qiao Wei, who had a low tolerance for injustice. She knew that Qiao Wei would be outraged when she heard what had happened and needed to be pacified first. As expected, Qiao Wei was furious upon hearing the news. That's impossible. How can a poor cultivated talent become a provincial champion? The examiners must have been blind or he cheated. Qiao Wei exclaimed. Madame Qiao became nervous and said, Stop talking nonsense. Qiao Wei only dared to complain in front of Madame Qiao. She knew better than to mention such ridiculous things. Qiao Wei snapped, Dad wants us to treat them well and prepare good gifts and news for that woman. And we're supposed to teach her too. She doesn't deserve any of this. Madame Qiao had a headache and said, That's your dad's order, and we can't let him down. I disagree. Why can't we let him down? My brother is working at Hanlin Academy. Dad won't do anything to us just because that man got lucky and became a recommended man. Save your breath. Everything is temporary, and we will get through it eventually. When your dad knows what they are really like, he will just kick them out without us doing anything. You need to be patient and try to endure it, or things will become very difficult for us after your marriage. There will be many obstacles along the way. Try to behave well in front of your dad and give her some of your nice ornaments. Qiao Wei was initially persuaded, but her anger resurfaced when she was told to give Qiao Xian some of her ornaments. She adamantly refused. No. She doesn't deserve my things. I would rather throw them away than give them to her. And I don't want to pretend to be her beloved sister. Madame Qiao attempted to calm Qiao Wei down and advised her to develop the ability to accept people she didn't like, especially for the sake of her father. She emphasized that this skill would come in handy when she eventually married her husband. She explained that if Qiao Wei acted kindly towards Qiao Xian in front of their dad, he would treat her better in the future. After much persuasion, Qiao Wei reluctantly agreed, but she knew deep down that she couldn't force herself to genuinely like her sister. However, she promised to avoid causing any trouble and to behave civilly towards Qiao Xian for the sake of their father's happiness. Madame Qiao sympathized with her daughter's predicament and acknowledged that changing her attitude towards Qiao Xian would not be easy. She also agreed with Qiao Wei's complaints. To ease the situation, Madame Qiao instructed Auntie Ling to inform concubine Du and Qiao Ko about the new developments, so they could all be on the same page and not worry about any further issues for the time being. Chapter 716. No offense. Auntie Ling relayed Madame Qiao's message to concubine Du and Xiao Ko, who understood what was expected of them, to give Qiao Xian a hard time and mock her. Once Auntie Ling had left, the mother and the daughter exchanged an irritated glance between them. For one thing, they were very frustrated that Qiao Xian's husband had advanced to the next level, and even the old master had begun to take notice of them. Qiao Xian had suddenly become an important figure in the family. For another, they were frustrated that Madame Qiao was putting them in a difficult position by asking them to give Qiao Xian trouble. They were unsure if this would really impress the old master. However, they also knew that refusing to comply with Madame Qiao's wishes could have negative consequences for them. They depended on her for their livelihood, and they didn't want to risk falling out of her favor. It was a dilemma for them. But Madame Qiao had given them an order, and they couldn't just pretend to be sick to get out of it. Madame Qiao would not have accepted their absence. "Mom, they're treating us like tools," Qiao Ko gritted her teeth, feeling a burning hatred for Madame Qiao and Xiao Wei that surpassed even her feelings towards Qiao Xian. She became even more determined to sabotage Qiao Wei's marriage. Concubine Du sneered in agreement. "We're just like servants, tools for their entertainment." Qiao Ko cried. "I am also Dad's daughter." Concubine Du let out a deep sigh of relief. "So you have to find a good husband, and only in this way will you be able to overthrow the situation you are in now." So, they knew they had to tread carefully around Madame Qiao for the time being. Offending her could mean risking their chances of finding a good husband and potentially causing themselves more trouble. Look at Xiao Xian. The reason Xiao Xian was able to rise to her current position was pure luck. No one had expected it to happen, and her success cannot be replicated. If it were to happen again, Concubine Du could not guarantee that her own daughter would have the same stroke of luck. Perhaps it was premature to rely on luck for success. After all, Shao Yunduan was merely a recommended man and not particularly significant. Concubine Du was not willing to take any chances and risk her daughter's future. "Leave it to me, forget about it." Qiao Ko nodded, agreeing with her mother's decision. In truth, Qiao Ko was not bothered by Madame Qiao's opinions of her. She knew that their father would soon return to the capital, and he would not allow Madame Qiao to arrange a marriage for her at this time. Qiao Ko was determined to ruin Xiao Wei's marriage when they returned to the capital. She had never relied on Madame Qiao to find her a good match, so she wasn't concerned about offending her. However, she also knew that it was best not to provoke Madame Qiao in case their life got worse. As the family was still making their own plans, Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan unexpectedly arrived at the door. Madame Qiao sneered upon hearing the news. "The couple really knows when to come. We have misjudged them before." Auntie Ling had not yet finished tidying up the courtyard at this moment. Officer Qiao was pleased with the timing of their visit. It could only mean one thing: Shao Yunduan was trying to curry favor with him, otherwise he wouldn't have been so eager to see him. This time, Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan were warmly welcomed by Officer Qiao. He patted Shao Yunduan on the back, engaging in friendly conversation as if they were close family. Shao Yunduan adopted a humble attitude mixed with a respectful tone, indicating that he had not informed his father-in-law about his participation in the exams because he was afraid of failing. Chapter 717. Problem. Officer Qiao felt relieved and his happiness grew even more. Meanwhile, in the backyard, Madame Qiao received Xiao Xian along with Xiao Wei, Concubine Du, and Xiao Ko. There was a subtle tension in the air. In the past, Concubine Du had constantly mocked Xiao Xian and looked down on her with disdain. But now, the time was different. It was Xiao Wei who seemed the most annoyed, sitting stiffly in her chair with a neutral expression. Xiao Ko sat with her eyes lowered, lost in thought. Even Auntie Ling and the other servants were treating Xiao Xian with more respect and kindness than before. Xiao Xian couldn't help but think that power and status were truly practical. Her husband had only become a recommended man, yet the Qiao family and the people in the village were treating her differently. Even those who they often socialized with were now more polite and cautious around her. Even the once arrogant members of the second and third sections of the family retreated slightly when they heard about Shao Yunduan's potential future as an officer. It was no wonder that throughout history people had pursued power, and yet many lost themselves after obtaining it, falling deeper into the abyss. Shao Yunduan remained calm and clear-minded, his gaze gentle and smiling as he looked at Xiao Xian. But she couldn't help but feel a bit confused about how long this gentleness would last. She felt that she should trust him. But she felt that she should always keep a clear mind as well. Madame Qiao said warm congratulations to her, emphasizing the importance of family, and encouraged Xiao Xian to visit often, especially since her husband was now part of the government and would be mingling with different people, like ladies and important madams. She reassured Xiao Xian that she could always come to her for advice if she needed it. We are a family, and we should share the honor and humiliation together and look into the future, Madame Qiao added. Xiao Xian replied politely and briefly, thank you. She made a mental note to distance herself from the family as soon as she could. She was going to find the opportunity to break up with them instead. Concubine Du spoke, showing a false smile. Second miss, you are very lucky, you have married a recommended man. You should thank Madame Qiao for setting you up with such a great husband. You should definitely thank her and respect her. Xiao Xian smiled. You are right, Concubine Du, don't feel jealous of me. Madame Qiao is always kind, and treats us equally. I am sure she will find a great marriage alliance for the third sister. Concubine Du, who had intended to just pretend, became annoyed hearing Xiao Xian's words. You talk too much, second Mississippi. Qiao Ko sneered. It's none of your business, Concubine Du. Xiao Xian maintained her innocence. I am just speaking the truth. Is there something wrong with that? I can stop if it bothers you. Madame Qiao shot Concubine Du a disapproving look, silently cursing her behavior. After laughing at Xiao Xian, Concubine Du found herself on the receiving end of her own words. Qiao Wei, unable to hold her tongue any longer, spoke up. Concubine Du is right, you are quite talkative. Perhaps you've become arrogant? After all, your husband is just a recommended man, far removed from the true halls of power. Even if he does manage to advance, he'll likely be left to drift alone without anyone to help him. In a few years, no one will remember who he is. Chapter 718, Bleeding. Xiao Xian was displeased with the way Qiao Wei belittled Shao Yunduan. But she knew better than to argue with her hot-headed sister. Instead, she calmly interjected, I beg to differ, sister. My husband is not just a recommended man, but also a provincial champion, the first one in the whole province. That is quite an achievement. My husband will have a great and promising future. Xiao Xian expressed her pride. Qiao Wei was visibly annoyed. A promising future. Xiao Xian interrupted her before she could finish. You don't think so? That was what my father said about him just now. Qiao Wei. Indeed, he is young and talented, with a very promising future ahead of him, Madame Qiao said with a forced smile. Oh, and by the way, I have some beautiful garments and jewelry that I would like to give to you, Xiao Xian. She quickly motioned for Auntie Ling to bring them out. Despite her polite words, Madame Qiao's heart was heavy. She didn't really want to give any gifts to Xiao Xian, and had originally planned to buy some cheap ornaments from a street vendor. Dozens of liang for some exquisite ornaments and a few garments should be enough. However, Xiao Xian and Shao Yunduan arrived unexpectedly, leaving Madame Qiao with no time to buy new items. Reluctantly, she had to go through her own collection of jewelry. She spent a long time picking out a large pearl hairpin and a green jade bracelet, which were worth more than 300 liang combined. The garments were silk with golden edges. When Auntie Ling arrived with the items, Concubine Du, Qiao Ko, and Xiao Wei were all fuming with annoyance. How could Xiao Xian, a mere woman, be gifted with such items? She didn't even deserve the right to receive them. Concubine Du and Xiao Ko felt their hearts breaking. Even if they did not have such beautiful hairpins and bracelets, which should be worth more than a few hundred liang in total. Even Madame Qiao and Xiao Wei had few such items. Concubine Du's most expensive golden bracelets with some rubies were not even worth 100 liang, and Madame Qiao had scraped them away from her later. Qiao Xian almost burst into laughter seeing this. So rare that Madame Qiao offered stuff to her. She was definitely going to take them. She would not wear them. She would put them away in her space and pawn them later for money. After all, she knew the true value of these ornaments, and it was not just a few hundred liang as she believed. She had more savings than all of these together. And she had many ornaments and garments too. She herself did a lot of shopping in the province. She had bought proper clothes and some exquisite ornaments. She put them away for collection so she could use them in the future. Moreover, First Madam had given her many other wonderful things. Those were genuinely precious and valuable. The ornaments with ruby and sapphire alone were worth 5,000 liang. The hairpins had pearls that were flawless and large as one huge longan fruit. What Madame Qiao offered were insignificant in comparison. Madame Qiao smiled as if she were giving Qiao Xian the best things ever, as she ordered Auntie Ling to deliver them to Qiao Xian. Qiao Xian thanked Madame Qiao and reached out for the items, accidentally revealing the emerald bracelet on her wrist. Madame Qiao's expression became tense and the others also noticed it, becoming uneasy. Concubine Du smiled and asked, "Second miss, did you acquire that bracelet on your own? It looks very valuable." Chapter 719, Pretentious. Qiao Xian smiled proudly, showing off her bracelet. "Oh, this," she said, rolling up her sleeves to reveal her pure white wrist. The translucent bicolor jadeite bracelet stood out against her skin, creating a pleasing contrast. "First Madam gave it to me," she continued. "Her Auntie Hua told me it's worth around 10,000 liang and asked me to take good care of it. Breaking it would be such a pitiful thing. It was a gift from First Madam, you know. But for my husband who makes it to provincial champion, one would not have put it on." Madame Qiao's expression turned sour upon hearing this, and the others were envious of Qiao Xian's prestigious gift. Even Concubine Du was impressed by the value of the bracelet. The others all gasped in disbelief. "What? Worth 10,000 liang? You must be joking." "Elle can't believe it either." Qiao Xian simply smiled and replied, "I was just as surprised as you are. But Auntie Hua wouldn't deceive me. 10,000 liang is a small sum for the Yuezhing family, isn't it? There's no need for her to lie about it." Madame Qiao felt a pang of envy and jealousy hearing Qiao Xian's casual tone when talking about such a large sum of money. She cursed inwardly, calling Qiao Xian pretentious. Madame Qiao knew that she herself didn't even have 100 liang to her name, so hearing someone talk about 10,000 liang as if it were nothing only made her feel more inferior. Even the old master, with all his wealth, did not have savings of more than 10,000 liang. But soon Madame Qiao was attracted by the Yuezhing family. "You said the First Madam gave you this? Why did she give you such a precious gift?" Qiao Xian smiled. "Young Master Yuezheng and my husband are good friends, and he likes him. First Madam invited us to visit her at her mansion, so she gave this to me." Madame Qiao's heart sank at the realization. "You were at their mansion?" The Yuezheng family was known for their wealth, power, and influence. Madame Qiao had always hoped to establish a connection with them, but they had never even set foot in their home. And now, Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan were already their guests. The provincial champion was so precious like this? Yes, yes. Qiao Xian nodded and continued, "The Yuezheng family is truly grand. The carved beams and painted buildings, along with their exquisite furnishings, leave one absolutely dazzled. The spices smoked in First Madam's room alone cost 100 liang. Their garden is also vast, adorned with a plethora of flowers and trees. There is an old camellia plant called 18 Bachelors that is said to have cost thousands of liang to buy. And then there are the many famous orchids, all cultivated in their glazed greenhouse, worth tens of thousands of gold." The others were all speechless as they listened to Qiao Xian's story. Gradually, Madame Qiao began to believe her words. However, she couldn't help but wonder how Qiao Xian knew so much about the trees and decorations in the Yuezhing family's mansion. She had never been there and had no knowledge of such things. It seemed that Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan had managed to get close to the Yuezhing family in some way. Feeling jealous, Madame Qiao was still trying to make a plan of how to use this relationship. Xiao Ko felt a surge of irritation. The glazed windows are from the Zhang family? That can't be right. Your husband wasn't even a recommended man back then. Are you telling me that you were already friends with the Zhang family? Qiao Xian nodded with a smile. Yes, young Master Zhang and my husband have been friends for quite some time now. The glazed windows were a gift from them. They had many unused things at their home, and my husband is a modest and low-profile person who doesn't like to boast about such things. Chapter 720, Madame Qiao's anger. My husband doesn't like to flaunt his connections. People who do that could never be true friends with young Master Zhang, Qiao Xian said. Qiao Ko felt as if her sister was indirectly criticizing her. Madame Qiao's jealousy continued to grow, and she could no longer remain calm. It was obvious that Xiao Xian and Shao Yunduan had been friends with the Zhang family for quite some time. If only they had known about Shao Yunduan's friendship with the Zhang family, they wouldn't have needed to worry about money at all. They used up all of their savings and even forced wealthy people to lend them money, tarnishing their own reputation. At that time, they thought Shao Yunduan was just a minor manager who couldn't even hold a conversation with young Master Zhang. Madame Qiao quickly dismissed Xiao Xian's story as bragging, believing that Shao Yunduan must have been a nobody in young Master Zhang's eyes back then. She thought that the two only became closer after Shao Yunduan became the provincial champion. Madame Qiao became increasingly annoyed. Was the title of provincial champion really that precious? Shao Yunduan was just a man from a poor family, and after he became the provincial champion, he became so well received. And this woman Xiao Xian was also raised in status. Madame Qiao took a deep breath, feeling optimistic about the situation. She believed that they could benefit from the Zhang family and acquire some wealth before returning to the capital next year. They would need fine clothes and jewelry for their trip to the capital, so they wouldn't be looked down upon by others, would they? And they would also need money to give bonuses to the servants, as well as presents for everyone in the mansion and their relatives. They would need money to host banquets and entertain guests. Madame Qiao's constant need for money frustrated her even more as they had none. Her covetous gaze fell upon Xiao Xian's jade bracelet, reflecting her greed. In the privacy of their conversation, Qiao Wei was never one to hold back her thoughts, especially regarding her sister's behavior. The jadeite bracelet on Xiao Xian's wrist was a beautiful and noble piece, with excellent color and crystal clarity, resembling an emerald green lake. Take off the bracelet and let me see it. Xiao Xian hesitated. I'd rather not. I don't want to risk damaging it. It's a gift from First Madam, and I should keep it safe. If you want to see it, you can come and view it yourself. Xiao Xian knew that if she took off the bracelet and showed it to Qiao Wei, she would never get it back. Everyone loved this kind of beautiful bracelet. Xiao Xian, what do you mean? You think we will take this into possession? Qiao Wei shouted angrily. Qiao Ko despised Madame Qiao and Qiao Wei, but pretending to be generous, she added, "Second sister, we are all sisters, and this beautiful bracelet is too precious to keep to oneself. You can give it to elder sister as a token of our family's unity. It might even please First Madam to see us getting along so well. Or do you not want to offer it to us at all?" Qiao Wei gave Qiao Ko a very praising look. She was right this time. Xiao Xian burst out. Of course one don't want to. One never see anything good, unlike you who always have good things to wear. So I need to keep it up. Qiao Ko. Qiao Wei flushed out of utter anger. She did not need to care a thing when no one outside the family was here. Chapter 721, Officer Qiao's opinion. She was determined to maintain her own reputation, and being turned down like this made her unhappy. You are very short-sighted. Xiao Xian retorted. You are right, sister, I am not as good as you. Qiao Wei. Madame Qiao suggested, First Madam gave this bracelet to you as a gift, so you should take good care of it. Double Ninth Day is approaching, and you should visit her to show your gratitude. We can all go together. Qiao Wei understood Madame Qiao's intention and decided to stop harassing Xiao Xian. Yeah, Qiao Xian was rude and dumb, and even she could make First Madam happy, and could she? Thought Qiao Wei. She thought to herself that if she could please First Madam more, she might receive even better gifts in the future. She was fortunate to have a promising husband, but without him, no one would be willing to associate with her. Madame Qiao continued to inquire about the Yuezheng family. Qiao Xian also advised Madame Qiao to pay close attention to Ms. Mi Jr. and Yuezheng Ting. She wondered what would happen if they met. Qiao Xian looked forward to that. Madame Qiao found Qiao Xian's practicality impressive and started to warm up to her, even becoming kinder. Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan were invited to stay for lunch. Officer Qiao ordered some high-quality dishes from a nearby restaurant while they waited for the food to be prepared. He was very hospitable and sincere in welcoming the couple. After lunch, as Qiao Xian and Shao Yunduan left, Officer Qiao and the rest of the family saw them off happily and praised Shao Yunduan as the best son-in-law. Madame Qiao felt inwardly annoyed at this. What did Officer Qiao say about the Zhao family? They had just got onto the donkey cart when Qiao Xian asked. Shao Yunduan stiffened and thought of how his father-in-law treated him so earnestly. He smiled and replied, Officer Qiao was very hospitable, and he even advised us to be careful. He mentioned that the Zhao family has been causing trouble lately, and that he has been wanting to take care of them for a while. Qiao Xian, good, that saves us a lot of trouble. Yeah, true. They did not care much about how it was done. As long as the Zhao family could be removed, anyway would be fine. The Zhao family had to be removed. Soon, there was going to be a lovely show. After they left, Officer Qiao couldn't help but admire Shao Yunduan's charisma and charm. Despite not being overly enthusiastic in his demeanor, he found Shao Yunduan to be an impressive and outstanding individual. He felt very satisfied with his son-in-law. Later on, Officer Qiao spoke highly of Madame Qiao for finding such a remarkable son-in-law for their daughter. Madame Qiao agreed reluctantly and changed the topic to the Yuezheng family. What happened in the past did not matter much, but at this moment, she was willing to do whatever it takes to get closer to them so that they would never have to worry about it again. First Madame gave Qiao Xian a bracelet worth 10,000 liang, so the Yuezheng family must be very rich and generous as well. Officer Qiao instantly came up with much motivation after hearing that. Knowing that it was all for nothing, they might have been infuriated. However, Qiao Xian wouldn't have brought up the First Madam to Madame Qiao if it hadn't been for her mentioning her first. Chapter 722, Fair and Square. First Madam was very curious how on earth the couple were. She could meet Madame Qiao to see what on earth was going on with the family. After all, of the Yuezheng family was too far-reaching for Officer Qiao. Officer Qiao's usual tactics for dealing with wealthy individuals in the county did not apply to the Yuezheng family. During a conversation with the couple, Qiao Wei abruptly interjected, "Second sister never socializes and she should have given you her bracelet, Mom. It was selfish of her to refuse." "Okay, Wei." Madame Qiao glanced at her daughter and sighed emotionally, "I'm fine. That bracelet is exquisite and of a high grade. It could be worth more than 10,000 liang. If we sold it, we could use the money for old master's business, and we would have much more spare money." Officer Qiao nodded in agreement, but he couldn't help feeling greedy. But he decided not to talk about this. Xian has never seen such nice things, so it's understandable that she likes it. We can talk about it later. Madame Qiao also noticed her husband's interest in the bracelet and smiled before saying, "You're right, there's no need to rush." Officer Qiao nodded in agreement, as he had more pressing matters to attend to. He couldn't help but harbor a grudge towards the Zhao family for being so miserly. They had only lent them a few thousand liang, and even old Master Zhao had claimed to be out traveling just to avoid meeting with him. While Shao Yunduan might want to seek revenge and eliminate the entire family for his own gain, Officer Qiao did not share the same perspective. He had no intention of taking such drastic actions. But, he would be leaving for the capital next year, so he saw no point in worrying about it. Officer Qiao consulted with the strategist and inquired about strategies to uncover any illegal actions committed by the Zhao family. By doing so, he could have their enemies report them to the office for a fair trial, leaving the Zhao family powerless. Given the many terrible things the Zhao family had done, it would not be hard to expose their wrongdoings. Shao Yunduan and Xiao Xian speculated that Officer Qiao would use this method to deal with the Zhao family. Shortly after, Officer Qiao made the announcement and everyone became aware that Shao Yunduan was the provincial champion. This was an unprecedented occurrence, as there had only been a few recommended men from the county but never a provincial champion. The whole county got excited. Everyone started to ask around who Shao Yunduan was. Manager Qin from Mingrentang spoke the loudest. As a good friend of the provincial champion, he talked about how interesting the champion was, bringing attention and reputation to Mingrentang. Meanwhile, Minghua College found itself in an embarrassing situation. The three teachers were feeling uncomfortable. They were just cultivated talents, while Shao Yunduan was now a provincial champion. They knew they would have to show respect to him whenever they met. The memory of how the college forced him out and failed to set him up kept them embarrassed and anxious, fearing that Shao Yunduan might seek revenge against them. Chapter 723. Going there, the three teachers complained to each other, but they could not come to a decision. As a result, individuals who possessed strong moral values and knowledge began to question whether the three teachers were unsure about their situation. There was even talk of them considering attending a different college in the next county rather than remaining at their current college. It was widely known that Shao Yunduan was forced to leave due to the influence of teachers who had been bribed by Zhao Guanghua. However, most people did not pay much attention to it. Nonetheless, this incident raised concerns about the ethical conduct of the three teachers involved. Interestingly, after leaving, Shao Yunduan went on to become a provincial champion. This essentially implied that the teachers not only had poor ethical standards, but their knowledge was also questionable. Therefore, there was little incentive for the students to remain at the college. The students discussed this matter discreetly, without intentionally concealing anything, which was not entirely hidden from the teachers' knowledge. Before long, the three teachers became aware of these discussions. The teachers were both infuriated and humiliated by the students' discussion, but they were powerless to act on it. They argued amongst themselves discreetly and feigned ignorance. However, deep down, they knew that the future of Minghua College was bleak. The students were not only planning to leave, but they also intended to extend their congratulations to Shao, the recommended Nian, in the village, hoping to receive some valuable guidance from him. Hopefully, that would bring some auspiciousness to their future. The teachers were feeling increasingly dejected. Although the students did not take any overt action, their mere presence served as a constant reminder of the teachers' transgressions. The teachers attempted to act as though nothing had occurred, but the atmosphere remained tense. Meanwhile, Shao Yunduan was not one to hold a grudge and was pleased to receive the students' congratulations. But what about them? Should they visit him or not? The teachers were hesitant to visit Shao Yunduan in case they were met with humiliation, but they felt it would be disrespectful not to pay their respects to a former student of Minghua College. Moreover, they hoped to receive Shao's blessings, and perhaps establish a relationship with him that could prove beneficial in the future. If they could mend the bridge with Shao, it could potentially lead to valuable connections and opportunities. As for the three teachers, they discussed amongst themselves and came to the conclusion that saving face was not as important as maintaining a good relationship with Shao Yunduan. They gathered the students and, on behalf of the college, visited Shao with gifts. The teachers would join the group naturally. However, when the college was discussing the visit, Shao Lulang had already rushed home, feeling annoyed and humiliated. He found the whole situation to be incredibly irritating. Fifth cousin, I thought you said you weren't taking the exam. Why did you go ahead and participate anyway? You lied to us. Shao Lulang accused Shao Yunduan, storming towards the first section of the family with a tone of anger, as if Shao Yunduan had committed a wrongdoing. Hey, Shao Lulang, be careful with your words, Ms. Fang intervened, defending Shao Yunduan. Yunduan is a recommended man and a provincial champion, a respected scholar. You should show him some respect or you might face consequences. Don't forget, he has achieved a higher level than you ever will. Shao Lulang was taken aback by Ms. Fang's stern words and was at a loss for words. There was a saying that went like this, and Shao Lulang knew he needed to respect it. He had to admit that his cousin had achieved a higher level of education and success, and had become a different man from the one he knew before. Chapter 724, Why Angry Shao Lulang's eyes were widened. He difficulty burst out the following sentence. Elder aunt, I asked you if fifth cousin went for the examination, and you told me he did not. You were lying to me as well. Qiao Xian almost burst into laughter hearing Shao Lulang's interrogation. What on earth was he focusing on? Whether or not her husband had gone for the examination had nothing to do with him. And he was provincial champion already. What was the point of asking about this anyway? What was he angry about? In what position was he angry for what, anyway? Must her husband stay at home for his sake, just because he failed the examination to become a cultivated talent? He asked her mother-in-law about her husband's participation, and got glad when hearing a negative answer. Qiao Xian did not think that lying to him was wrong. Instead, she felt so lucky to have told her mother-in-law not to tell that to this man. Or this man would have done something unexpectedly terrible. Ms. Fang didn't back down from what Shao Lulang had said. Well, at that time, it wasn't appropriate to say anything. If Yunduan had failed, it would have been embarrassing for him. So I kept it a secret. But as it turns out, he's a provincial champion now. Ahahaha. Shao Lulang. Elle should not have lied to you. But I did that for a purpose, also, that did not hurt you, did it? Why are you annoyed by this? You should be happy that your cousin is a provincial champion. You can ask him for advice if you have some academic questions, right? You should focus on studies, do you? Eldest uncle consoled him. Yeah, Lulang, don't be anxious. You are smart and diligent, I believe that you can make it as well. For sure. Stop it, elder uncle, Shao Lulang vented his anger. I'll know what you're implying. Cousin is capable, and you don't need to tell me this. You toyed with me and lied to me. There's no need to talk with you anymore. With that, Shao Lulang stormed off, leaving eldest uncle behind, who tried to catch up with him. Lulang, please, don't be angry, he pleaded. But Shao Lulang ignored him and kept walking. Ms. Fang, on the other hand, paid no attention to elder uncle and turned to Shao Yunduan with a gentle smile. Don't worry about him, Yunduan. He seems to have lost his mind after reading too many useless books. Let's celebrate your achievement instead. Eldest uncle happened to hear that. Shao Yunduan nodded and smiled. Qiao Xian smiled in agreement. It's all right, I am happy to do it. We have double happiness coming to our door, and it's a joyous occasion to celebrate. Ms. Fang also nodded, yes, we must host the banquets well. Qiao Xian, you have much work to do to receive the guests. Don't worry, Mom. Leave it to me. Tao Tao, my third sister-in-law, and the maids will work together. You are the mother of a provincial champion, a highly esteemed senior member of the family. Ordinary guests do not deserve to meet you. They should automatically come to pay their respects. Chapter 725, Regret Mess. Fang was very amused. Oh my. That is not what I am used to. You should, Mom. You will meet even better things in the future, that is your fortune. Ms. Fang laughed. Okay, let's all share the fortune. Thank goodness you are here, so I am not feeling that unsure anymore. Qiao Xian added. Don't worry, Mom. I will get everything well arranged. Shao Yunduan looked at these two women, gently and smiling. Sure enough, the strategist and publicists arrived to congratulate Shao Yunduan. The announcement of his becoming a provincial champion caused a great stir in the first section of the Shao family. People flocked to offer their congratulations. Land officers and elderly men from the clan led Shao Yunduan to the ancestral hall where he paid tribute with tears of pride. There had never been a recommended man from the village before, and Shao Yunduan was the first to obtain the title, which was a great honor for the whole village. Villagers, friends, and relatives, as well as businessmen from the Zhang family such as Manager Qin and Manager Dong, and even businessmen from other villages, all came to offer their congratulations and establish relationships with the family. Qiao Xian had attended many banquets with the first madam and had learned some basic manners. She led Yang Xiaoni and Tao Tao to receive the guests, and they were also trained in the proper etiquette. The maids helped everything run smoothly, ensuring that everything was in proper order. They were so well-mannered that even some businessmen who didn't think of the Shao family as important couldn't help but adjust their attitudes and show full respect. Despite being just a farmer's family, the Shao family's manners impressed everyone. And with Shao Yunduan's young age and provincial championship title, he was sure to have a bright future. It was clear that befriending people like this would be beneficial for their own businesses and futures. Most of the guests were male, and Shao Yunduan's page boy, Songshi, was there to assist Shao Sanlang and Shao Xiaoqi in receiving the guests. Manager Dong even offered some of his employees to help, which Shao Yunduan gratefully accepted and asked them to stay with the Shao family for the time being. When the 3 teachers from Minghua College and their students arrived, Shao Yunduan received them with calm and polite demeanor. However, he maintained a polite and composed demeanor when interacting with the teachers, without showing any excessive familiarity or respect towards them. To Shao Yunduan, only Master Yun was truly worthy of admiration and respect, as he was a man of great talent and integrity. While the college teachers were knowledgeable and ethical, they were not particularly outstanding in Shao Yunduan's eyes. Despite being expelled from the college, he had no intention of causing a scene or holding any grudges against them. As long as they could interact peacefully, it was enough for him. The teachers were reassured to see Shao Yunduan receiving them with composure and without any signs of mockery or aggression. They had initially feared that he might pick on them or make fun of them, but were pleasantly surprised to find that he treated them with respect and dignity. Despite feeling relieved, the teachers couldn't help but feel guilty and regretful for their past behavior towards him. They wondered why they had treated him so poorly before. Feeling embarrassed, they didn't stay for too long and left after having just 2 cups of tea. County Magistrate Qiao's strategist also attended the event and brought people to boost Shao Yunduan's reputation. The Shao family received all of their guests at the door, except for those from 2 particular families. Chapter 726, pretending one of them was the Zhao family, who had wronged the Shao family before. The Shao family found it odd that the Zhao family would come to their door bearing gifts. Did they really believe that a few presents could erase their past transgressions? Zhao Guanyin, the housekeeper, as well as 2 servants from the Zhao family arrived with elaborately wrapped gifts. The first section of the Shao family became furious upon hearing of the guests' arrival. Nis. Fang shouted loudly, "How dare you come to the door? Get out of my place." Shao Sanlang punched directly at Zhao Guanjin's face. "You are staining our floor. Get lost, now." Zhao Guanyin was totally confused, asking sternly in a mess. "When did we offend you? You are over the top, how can you punch us for no reason? So what? We did not punch you at your door because we don't have time. If you dare come to us, we will punch you every time you do." Shao Yunduan sneered coldly, "Are you putting on a dumb show, young Master Zhao?" "Well played." Zhao Guanyin was even more confused than angry. He knew that something must have happened. Really don't have a clue, then you can ask when you are at home." Shao Yunduan interrupted him. "Leave now, or we will continue to punch you." Faced with the intimidating demeanor of the Shao family, Zhao Guanyin left in a hurry without saying a word. On his way back, he couldn't help but ask his housekeeper, "Did second young Master Zhao do something to offend the Shao family again?" The housekeeper remained silent, trembling with fear from the encounter at the Shao family's doorstep. Zhao Guanyin couldn't help but wonder if the housekeeper was aware of something that he wasn't. The housekeeper suggested, "Perhaps you should ask the second young master himself, he might know what is going on." The Zhao family had 1 head housekeeper and 2 deputy housekeepers. This particular deputy housekeeper served Zhao Guanyin exclusively and was promoted by him. He was treated differently from the other 2 housekeepers and was somewhat alienated from them. He only focused on carrying out tasks assigned to him by the first young master, and disregarded anything else that happened in the family. So he was not in a position to comment on old master and second young master's behavior. Zhao Guanyin got angry. Spill it now. The housekeeper sighed emotionally and spilled the story, in a staggering way. What happened at the Yang village was a huge thing, and it was solved directly on the spot. Yang Xiaoni was fast, so she did not even run into Zhao Guanghua. Also, Shao Yunduan was provincial champion, and when he decided to take Yang Xian's side, no one dared to spread the rumor about Yang Xiaoni at all. Or things would have gone worse. This kind of thing would always turn ridiculous and fall beyond the truth, when it was spread around. Women always became the victim of the topic. Zhao Guanyin really had no idea about this. He was busy with business and fields and hazus. He had no time to care about family affairs. Also, the second young master was very wild and no one dared to spill the secret to anybody else, or tell him about this humiliation. Zhao Guanjian's heart sank, as he said, shivering. How could this have happened? Was he mental? How dare he do this? He already has 3 maids serving him, isn't it enough? He even dared to steal a married woman. Why didn't you tell me about this before? Zhao Guanyin felt so annoyed as his face turned red. He was getting very anxious at the moment. Chapter 727, No talk about second young master. It's no surprise that the first section of the Shao family looked at him strangely, that Shao Sanlang punched him, and that recommended man Shao treated him coldly. How could he have even considered stealing a married woman? Such an act was unforgivable, especially considering that Shao Yunduan was the provincial champion and his wife was Officer Qiao's daughter. Officer Qiao might not have paid attention to Ms. Qiao before. But things were different now. Zhao Guanyin felt coldness going through his body and his heart almost stopped throbbing. He felt desperate. The housekeeper smiled bitterly. With his head lowered, he did not dare defend anyone, he did not dare to say anything about the second young master. In his position, the deputy housekeeper remembered that the first young master had to intervene and tell the second young master to stop. The first young master explained that the second young master was like that, and his orders needed to be followed, or he might seek revenge quickly. That was why he never stepped forward to help when the second young master started to give him a hard time. Young master only consoled him and gave him 5 liang. He accepted the money and thanked the first young master. There was nothing else he could do about it. He was just a deputy housekeeper, and he could not do anything about that. After that incident, the deputy housekeeper made a conscious decision to pretend not to know anything about the second young master's actions. When the first young master asked him about it, he remained tight-lipped. Why should he reveal any secrets? He did not want to become the target of the second young master's anger. Instead, the first young master would allow the second young master to vent his anger before defending him and putting an end to it all. He was uncertain whether the first young master's approach was the right one, but he knew he didn't want to be the target of the second young master's temper. He had already suffered enough and didn't want to shorten his lifespan due to this. However, the situation was complicated. The second young master had caused a lot of trouble, and the Shao family was not known for forgiving easily. If the matter was not resolved properly and the Shao family did not forgive them, the Zhao family might run into significant trouble. Zhao Guanyin felt so distressed. But his father was not at home. So he had to ask someone to get his father back and tried to fix it all. At the Zhang village. Ms.Zhang had just been divorced and sent back to her mother's family when news broke that Shao Yunduan had become the provincial champion. Although Shao Yunduan was from the first section of the family, those from the other sections were also considered family, and they should have benefited from his success. They would never have to worry about food and clothing again. Ms. Zhang and her family were dumbfounded by the news, and Mrs. Zhang became furious, shouting and even striking her own legs. The Shao family is bullying us. They looked down on us and divorced our daughter. I won't stand for this. Chapter 728, Ms. Zhang's intention misses. Zhang lashed out at both the Shao family and Ms. Zhang. You're so useless. You've been married to them for so long, given birth to a son and a daughter, and they still drive you out of the family. What good are you anyway? Ms. Zhang couldn't hold back her tears, and they began to trickle down her face as she sobbed. She didn't even dare cry in front of her mother because she knew she would only be met with more cursing and beatings. Zhang Debao, meanwhile, had forgotten about the punches he had received from the Shao family and joined in. Yeah, the Shao family is terrible. They drove the second sister out of the family on purpose. Why must we be bullied? Second sister has given birth to the lineal children of the family, and they can't just ignore her completely. Mom, send the second sister back to the Shao family. The Shao family was now flourishing, and Mrs. Zhang knew that if she could somehow remain connected to them, her family would surely benefit from it. There was no point in staying at her own home since she wasn't earning any money. Ms. Zhang also shared the same intention of returning to the Shao family. She missed her children and her husband and had to admit that her life at her mother-in-law's home was much better than her life at her own home, despite her mother-in-law's constant scolding. Mrs. Zhang agreed with her son's suggestion and said, "That's right. Let's go back to the Shao family. If your wicked mother-in-law still refuses to accept you, then go and plead with Shao Erlang and your children. You gave birth to them, and they should listen to you. If you can't even control your own children, then what's the use of you being here at home all day?" Nis. Zhang couldn't bring herself to look up and speak. She was doing her best to stay close to their uncle, but her children hardly ever saw him, and they didn't believe her words. Meanwhile, her mother-in-law kept giving her chores to do, leaving her with barely any time to take care of her children. As they talked, Mr. Zhang chimed in, "Why rush into things? Let's wait a bit longer. We've spoken with the land officer and elderly men, and they've promised to help us out. According to the old saying, marriages should not be broken up without good reason. Our daughter hasn't done anything wrong, and the land officer should intervene on our behalf." Mrs. Zhang nodded in agreement. She felt reassured by her husband's words. The next day, Mr. Zhang went to the land officer and the elderly men and asked for their assistance. To their relief, things went more smoothly than expected. They all agreed to help, seeing it as a way to strengthen their own community ties. What was more, Shao Yunduan was the top-ranked candidate and likely to enter the government office soon. Having a relative like Ms. Zhang in their family would certainly be advantageous for the Zhangs. So, the land officer and other villagers from Zhang village accompanied Ms. Zhang to Shaoding village. However, they were unsure whether she should first return to the second section of the family or visit the first section to offer congratulations. They agreed to visit the provincial champion first. It was always better to approach with a smile than to be turned away. Relatives and friends were already visiting the Shao family to offer their congratulations, so the Zhang family should do the same. The provincial champion would surely accept their well wishes, and if they were accepted, then Ms. Zhang would be accepted too. Chapter 729, Ms. Fang's Annoyance. If they could just express their regrets and offer apologies, perhaps the second section of the Shao family could accept Ms. Zhang completely. Although Mrs. Zhang initially did not want to apologize, Mr. Zhang insisted, and she had to oblige. After all, it was the Zhang family's fault for being caught red-handed by Shao Erlang, so an apology was necessary. Despite her reluctance, Mrs. Zhang kept her objections to herself and agreed to apologize. When the Zhang family arrived at Shaoding village, they went straight to the first section of the Shao family. Many guests had already visited to offer their congratulations and kind words. Thus, when the group from Zhang village arrived, the first section of the Shao family happened to be free to receive guests. As the group approached the door, Songsher, who was standing guard, was startled by their size and hurried off to inform the family. Ms. Fang, eldest uncle, and Shao Yunduan all came to greet them, but their expressions darkened upon seeing that the group was from Zhang village. The land officer and the elderly men from Zhang village offered their congratulations and kind words to Ms. Fang, who responded politely. Eldest uncle even invited them inside the house. However, Ms. Fang shouted, "Hang on." She threw a cold look at Ms. Zhang. The Zhang family must not be here. We don't accept such evil women. She is staining our floor. Ms. Fang had always disliked Ms. Zhang, and after what Ms. Zhang did to her son and got divorced, her resentment grew even stronger. She glared at Shao Yunduan and Shao Xiaoqi, blaming them for meddling in her family affairs and causing her so much trouble. She even wished them a miserable life. Miss Fang's grudge against Ms. Zhang remained deep. Ms. Zhang and the Zhang family may have regretted their actions, but it was too late to make amends in Miss Fang's eyes. Mrs. Zhang was so annoyed. We are relatives. We have no vicious relatives like you. Ms. Zhang is divorced and you have just accepted the letter. We have nothing to do with you. What? Glaring back at me? What are you thinking? Throwing temper at my place? Shao Yunduan added. Mom is right. The Zhang family are not ethical people and we have nothing to do with each other anymore. They are not accepted to our door. But the others are welcomed inside. But, Mr. Zhang's expression turned to anger, although he tried to maintain a smile on his face. Recommended man Shao, we are here to pass on our congratulations with sincerity. My daughter used to be your sister-in-law, and as a scholar, you should understand the importance of proper etiquette. Of course he does. Ms. Fang sneered. That's why we're not associating with you. Sister-in-law? She is not. If everyone follows your example and comes to my door uninvited, am I supposed to welcome bandits and hooligans as well? This is not proper etiquette, and it's tarnishing our family's reputation. Qiao Xian added. Mom is totally right. Yang Xiaoni nodded. Yes, absolutely right. The land officer and the others exchanged a look between themselves, feeling quite embarrassed. They had not expected the conversation to turn this way. Trying to ease the tension, the land officer smiled and spoke up. Ms. Zhang made a mistake, but even saints make mistakes and learn from them. Perhaps she deserves another chance. She has been doing well in her current home, raising children, respecting her in-laws, taking care of her husband and household duties. She is a diligent person. Chapter 730, Rejection. What do you say we go inside and discuss this in private? After all, we're here to congratulate and discuss the family affairs of Ms. Zhang and Shao Erlang, and it's unfortunate that a family has been broken up. The children are still so young, and Ms. Zhang isn't a criminal, right? Eldest uncle had a kind heart and was mindful of his reputation, so he couldn't bear to see the Zhang family begging for forgiveness at the door. The land officer's words only added to his discomfort. He was about to ask the guests to come into the door. Yes, we can talk in the room, because I feel it is not easy to talk it through clearly within a short while. Oh yeah, that is great. The Zhang family are not welcome inside, Ms. Fang retorted sharply to eldest uncle. Her expression turned even darker as she continued, Yunduan is now a provincial champion and our family has a good reputation. We cannot allow these types of people to ruin it. Not just the Zhang family. But anyone like them should never be allowed into our home. Shao Yunduan added, I'll agree with my mother. Land officer Zhang and elderly men, that's what I meant. The others hesitated and turned to eldest uncle for his decision. Feeling annoyed that his wife and son were publicly humiliating him, eldest uncle responded, Yunduan may have achieved success, but we cannot turn away villagers. While we are not related, we can still treat them as guests and offer them hospitality. You old man, how dare you accept such a despicable family? Are you happy to see Yunduan's reputation tarnished? Ms. Fang exclaimed, her anger boiling over. She stomped hard on the floor in frustration. Why do you call us despicable? It is your whole family that is despicable. Your family divorced our daughter and now your son has become a recommended man. You think you are of a higher class and we are beneath you. Mrs. Zhang continued, her voice rising with each word. If you didn't like us, your family should never have married our daughter. She has given birth to children for the Shao family and worked for you for so many years. And now, you are just driving her away? How can she be summoned and dismissed so easily? Our daughter was a complete woman before she married into this family, and she would never have done such a thing if not for you. She is a sister, and it is her duty to help her brother. What is wrong with that? How could you force her to make that mistake? You made her do it. Mrs. Zhang's voice was raised, her anger palpable. Elle spared no efforts to raise a daughter and gave her to your family. She was just trying to help her brother. What is wrong with that? she continued. We are not finished with this. We will not be bullied. Everyone present. Young Xiaoni's eyes widened as she listened to the argument. She spoke up quietly, but that's not right. Second sister-in-law, or rather, Ms.Zhang, you were the daughter-in-law of the second branch of the family, not ours. Why are you complaining here? And I have never seen a mother treat her son like this. How can such a mistake be seen as something positive? Your family is really scary. Qiao Xian snorted, my husband being a provincial champion has nothing to do with you. The announcement was made by the county, not us. And Ms. Zhang's mistake and subsequent removal from the family has nothing to do with my husband's success either. Chapter 731, Not Deserving. Elle cannot believe you had the audacity to call my mother horrible. You were the one who made the first mistake by coming to our home and insulting us. If you dare to set foot in our house again today, we will ensure that you face utter humiliation. Yang Xiaoni said, very right. Everyone present. Miss Fang snorted, and glanced proudly at the two daughter-in-laws of hers. Things were different now. She was safeguarded by people as well. No one could bully her anymore. Mrs. Zhang was so annoyed. You, how? The others exchanged glances, their expressions filled with disdain as they directed their disapproval towards Mrs. Zhang. They regretted believing Ms. Zhang and now questioned her character, especially considering the behavior of her children. Agreeing to accompany them here to reconcile with the Shao family was a grave mistake, and they couldn't help but feel humiliated by the whole situation. Qiao Xian had recently dispatched someone to summon the second section of the family, telling them that the Zhang family had returned with demands for money. Their intention was to use the first section of the family's assistance as leverage against the second section of the family, coercing them into making a deal. Ms. Niu had always been irritated by Ms. Zhang's actions, but her irritation had now transformed into intense hatred. Ms. Zhang had not only stolen from them to provide for her own family but had also manipulated her own son. When news reached Ms. Niu that the Zhang family was attempting to gain control over the second section of the family through the first section, her anger reached its boiling point. Fueled by fury, Ms. Niu approached the Zhang family and directed her scathing words directly at them, not holding back her contempt for Ms. Zhang and her actions. Ms. Niu firmly informed the Zhang family to cease their harassment, emphasizing that they had no chance of marrying someone like Ms. Zhang, regardless of Shao Erlang's potential future remarriage. Unable to contain her frustration, Mrs. Zhang engaged in a heated argument with Ms. Niu, their confrontation on the verge of turning physical. The land officer, growing exasperated, developed a headache. He could no longer tolerate the situation and bid a forced, polite farewell to Shao Yunduan, swiftly escorting the Zhang family away. Ms. Niu spat in their direction before storming off, seething with anger. Peace and quiet descended once again, prompting a collective sigh of relief from the first section of the Shao family. The Zhang family's incessant arguments and disruptive behavior earned them a reputation for being unreasonable, noisy, and bothersome. Eldest uncle strongly disapproved of their conduct and emotionally expressed, Yunduan, you are the provincial champion. You should treat the villagers with kindness and not forget your roots or mistreat them. Upon hearing eldest uncle's words, Ms. Fang couldn't help but express, mistreating them? She found his remarks about her husband unjust. Are we expected to consider an immoral woman like Ms. Zhang as family? The Zhang family is far from virtuous, especially when their children are raised to behave this way. That old woman even cursed at me. Do you think I should just smile and tolerate such behavior? They are not worthy of being considered our fellow villagers. What are you even saying? Miss Fang retorted vehemently. Dad. Shao Yunduan interjected, feeling helpless. I am just a provincial champion, not even holding a significant position. It is premature to discuss forgetting one's roots at this stage. Many people harbor jealousy towards me and secretly plot against me. We should never associate ourselves with individuals like that. We should never have any connection with the Zhang family and the Zhao family. You never know what they are plotting. If you find it unbearable, then stay out of the limelight. Don't interfere in anything related to me, Dad. Miss Fang reassured him, Duan, don't worry. I am here. I will never let anyone like them tarnish your reputation. I won't forgive anyone who tries to harm you. You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.